Get everything set up. And while we're waiting for folks to come on in, yes, I did have a little accident on Monday. So I don't know if you can see it as well on the camera. Let's do a quick. Right there. Should. Yeah, leave it like that. But yeah. Nice little Zuko bruise. Nice little broken pinky. Bruised ribs. Slight concussion. Overall, I think I've actually had worse. I actually had a scooter accident just before Christmas, and when I was doing that, I'm pretty sure I actually cracked some ribs, and I was severely bedridden and could not really move well for quite a while there. So I'm definitely sleeping a lot more, but yeah, could be worse. It's gonna be hard to drink your tea. Well, that's what you gotta do, the Trump thing, right? You gotta drink with both hands. And thankfully, I have these 3 fingers, so I can actually use the controller. Can't really use a mouse, though, so when I'm switching between stuff, it'll be a little more interesting. Okay, it's 6 p.m. Go ahead and get everything started. Howdy, Embody. Afriel here. Tonight, I want to talk about vulnerability and trust. So, I had a bike crash earlier this week, and definitely has me thinking about physical vulnerability, and so I figured I would just talk a bit more broadly about ideas that I have about vulnerability, and that kind of leads into a discussion about trust. Slasher, it's not actually as bad as it looks. It's definitely pretty badly bruised if I take off the splint, but really it's just the pinky is busted. Yeah. Everything else is just to keep that in line and supported. Although the hand is actually pretty bruised too, to be fair. But that's the only part that's actually like broken. The paramedic shook my hand to be like, yeah, you're okay, you're good, like, wife's gonna take you to the hospital. That hurt. It hurt a lot. Yeah, it's just a bulky splint. And no, Slack, I'm not giving you a hands cam. This isn't like speedrunning territory where... Oh wait, hang on, I think I have to... Is it this one? I think it's this one. So for those who don't know, we're going to go kill the 4 kings, and in order to get down to the bottom of New Londo, you have to be cursed. So we have to be either like cursed, like I was in one of the definitely last episode. I forget if we got cursed at all before that. Or you can use what's called a transient curse, or you can use a cursed weapon. But yeah, we should be good. All right. So we're gonna use this because the enemies that we're gonna be fighting are all ghosts. Very, very spoopy. And so in order to be able to hit them, you have to be cursed when you hit them. Yeah. So physical vulnerability is something that we kind of take for granted, I find. No, I forgot there's 2 of them there. There we go. I think that there's... I think it's a Firekeeper soul back here. Trying to remember, it's through this doorway, and then I think I summon 1 or 2 of those other... Yep, there we go. Please don't fall off. Okay, we're good. Yeah, it's a Firekeeper soul. We'll just dodge that, and then... Now, do I not have poise? I do not have poise on, that's why. And where is... There we go. Much better. Hey! Got that pretty early. So the Jagged Ghost Blade is a cursed weapon, but it doesn't really do quite enough damage to them unless it's been upgraded a couple of times, so I will probably just keep that in my backpack for now. And then depending on transient curse management, if I have to break out that blade, then I will. Because I think it's like 3-hit kill without upgrades, and then it's a 2-hit kill even with upgrades. Unless you have, like, decently high dex. Okay. There's one there, one there. And this one is not a blocked off. Okay. I'm probably going to just focus on this part a little bit to begin with. Because I don't want to waste the transient curse. That one, that one, that one, and that. Oh, there's one more. So yeah, I will probably focus on this part first, and then later on I will start doing more monologuing. I can probably jump it in. Hey, Ups! How's it going? And then, oh, yeah, you ain't sneaky, bub. Knowing where these jerks are sure goes a long way. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, Slack. Like, that's probably the hardest part of this when you're playing through it the first time, is just getting jump scared constantly. There's 2 more transient curses. Oh, and it doesn't... You can't really tell when you run out. No, I did not get through the lecture yet. I'm trying to make the best use of my transient curses, Grizz. So we'll do that, I think. And then once we're sort of through this portion... Because I forget... Because you have to lower the water level by opening up the doors right there. And I don't actually remember... okay, are they floating towards me and I need to kill them before... maybe... No. Okay, their leash goes back that way. It's an eye test. Oh, here we go. Ow. Because I just really don't want to get there. Like, there's so this room right here is kind of infamous in Dark Souls. Oh, I ran out of curse. Oh, that's not good. Get up those stairs. So this is where a lot of deaths have happened in the past. I think I'm gonna need a transient curse. Oh, no, I don't need to. That's weird. So this is a guy...
Well, this is a surprise. I get few visitors.
Safe for ghosts.
Very... I know it. You see...
And this guy that lets you open up stuff. Key to the seal.
In the deepest chamber of the ruin.
So if you don't have the Lord Vessel already, then you have to, I believe you have to kill him for this, and then you can kill the 4 kings before you beat Ornstein and Smo.
In a dark void called the Abyss.
The Abyss.
But the Abyss is no place for love. If you can find him and learn from him.
So Artorias was the guy, the doggo fight that we had a while back. He was guarding Artorias' grave. Alright, so I'm gonna recurse myself. And I think I can just drop down because the ghosts would have de-aggroed. And we're just gonna swing wildly. And then run out, and then... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to drink. Okay, we're good. Like I said, this room is a little bit infamous. For that reason. You tend to get a whole bunch of ghosts that want to do bad things to you all at once. Oh, is that actually accessible from up here? And yes, Slasher is correct. You can fight Artorias in the DLC. Is that... maybe not. Maybe it's around a different way. Maybe it's around this way? Aha! Should also probably top up. Just gotta keep your eyes peeled for little hooks coming out of the wall or out of the ceiling. And the best final boss summon in history. I actually have never played through the DLC, so I'm not sure who that one is. Oh, and we get an item. More transient curses. Huzzah. Oh, you can fight him with Sif. Okay. Sif helps you to put his old master down. It's kind of sad, but also necessary in that case. Does this go down and around? I feel like I should be... Oh, curse bite ring. That's helpful. Okay. Now we press phone. Just grabbing stuff as we're going, because now we have plenty of transient curses. It's just a matter of needing to back off at certain points if we need to. Okay, and then this is one of the places. Okay, no, I don't know if you can actually kill him from here, but you can definitely... Actually, no, I think you can. Maybe. I know you can, that the sort of like speedrun strat is to kill him from down below. Rare Ring of Sacrifice. Because he's standing right there, so you can probably get him from here, but then he'll run down the ladder. But we don't need to kill him, because we're doing the quote-unquote good run. Let's get it. Fighting ghosts. New Londo is decently big. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to go back in, and then down, and then around again. Also, the canonical story for this game is that somebody opened up the Abyss, and then when the Abyss got opened up, they needed to seal it off. And the way that the powers that be decided to seal it off was by flooding an entire city, killing pretty much all of the inhabitants by drowning them. So you have a lot of... That's where all the ghosts are coming from, is that you have all of these people who were just kind of executed, and then lots of wailing mothers holding their children, and... Yeah. The world of Dark Souls is kind of grimdark. Contraption does not move. I have to go down and around first. Key to the seal. That's right. Okay, so this opens the doors, and it unfloods this chamber, which gives us access further down to where the Dark Wraiths are, and then eventually to the Abyss. It pulled in Atlantis. I don't think... Well, okay, that's an interesting idea. Was Atlantis intentionally flooded, or was that more of a natural disaster thing? Gnashing of teeth confirmed. Then you show up with a big sword, bad day for them. Well, let's be real here, Chris. I'm not really doing anything bad at this point. I'm helping to free their souls to move on to the afterlife. Dick Wraiths. Yeah, they're not the nicest. They're not the nicest people. Alright, let's see here. And also, again, kind of showing how well interconnected this... There we go, there's the Dark Wraith. This leads out directly to the Valley of the Drakes, which is pretty cool. So these guys hit pretty hard. You gotta be kind of careful of them. But if you get a backstab off, you can kind of just, you know, kill him pretty easily. They have a grab attack that steals humanity that's kind of nasty, but as long as you are kind of aware of where they're coming from and which ones are coming at you, they're not super difficult to deal with. I probably should have my shield out, though. Actually, do I have the red Tearstone ring? Let's see. Because I'm like half tempted to show off hyper mode at some point. No, do not. Okay. We'll go grab that. Actually, let me get a bonfire. And then we'll do red Tearstone ring briefly. I think there's one up this way. Just to bait you into it. Just to make you think, hey. Yeah, I got a faster swing there, buddy. Ooh, a Titanite chunk. Okay, I think this is a false fog wall, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Okay. There's one guy to the left, and then there's that guy there. And we get a backstab. Bye-bye. Oh, he was facing the wrong way. I could have just... Probably didn't need to swing the second time. That's the grab attack. Oh, is there a Dark Knight here too? Oh no, it's just that guy, okay. So there's like a oozing mass that has annoying attacks. Oh, it does summon the explodey skulls. I don't think it damages it. No, it doesn't damage it. That's kind of unfortunate. Thankfully, it's actually not that hard to kill, but you do have to kind of punch through it. It's got a lot of health. Darth Chungus. Alright, I probably should have jumped back since I'm already kind of past the curse spot. But yeah, we take physical vulnerability pretty much for granted. And at least I try not to, but I know that I do to a certain extent, and that's part of how I got into my little bike accident, right? Was because I wasn't fully considering my own physical vulnerability, my own capacity to be injured as a consequence of really a very minor screw-up. I was riding on my way to work, and all I had to do was just slightly clip my back wheel on a curb as I was trying to get up on the sidewalk to go around somebody who was parked in the bike lane. And down I went. And as a consequence of that, I broke my pinky, I bruised my face, I bruised my ribs, got a small concussion. And that's a lot of damage for one small little mistake. And it's something that I think that, like, that's... So me riding my bike, like, that's one example, but there's loads of things that we're doing all the time, every day, that you're not really thinking about the physical vulnerability aspect of it, but it's definitely there. We trust strangers to drive their cars properly around us. Very large ember, which is actually really useful. We trust people to operate heavy machinery properly. Like, there's construction going on outside of my work building right now, and I trust that the people who are doing that are not just going to knock the walls over and collapse the building on top of us. Because, I mean, this is kind of jumping to the end of it, but you go insane if you try and take into account every single thing that could possibly happen, that could possibly hurt you. And you have to kind of judge probabilities of things. You have to understand how much trust you should put into certain individuals. And over time, you kind of get some idea of what that should look like and how much trust you should put into certain things. Measuring competence, as Grizz said. Like, you can kind of get a feel for what you should be more or less concerned about. But you also... It's one of those things where you don't necessarily know what it is that's going to kill you until it's already killed you. Or if you watch it happen to somebody else. And the thing that kind of comes to mind with that, too, is the recent aircraft accidents that have been happening. And it's like, okay, are these just freak accidents? Is this stuff that was known issues that just hadn't been resolved over a long period of time and it's just now coming to a head? Like, what's the actual cause of the problems that we're looking at? And there's, I'm sure, a lot of people who are now looking at their plane tickets for the next week or 2 weeks and saying, I don't know if I want to go flying right now. Sorry, I just want to focus up a little bit while these guys are trying to kill me. Like that. Oh, that is a far bonfire. That is a far bonfire. Took a drink of water and didn't drown. Very proud of myself. We're proud of you too, Slack. We're very proud of you. I'm gonna... can I run through most of it? I think I can. There's also the option to cut through the Valley of the Drakes and use that bonfire instead. I think I might do that. Where's the way to go that way? Up the elevator. Through... Okay, yep, I know where to go. Let's see. Chat while I'm moseying. Bikes and motorcycles, it's surprising how fast they can go down. Yes, that is absolutely correct, Chris. And it definitely has made me rethink a bit about... Because I've wanted to get a motorcycle, but how vulnerable I would be riding on one. Ups. There was one American researcher who proposed about 2 decades ago that Atlantis was sunk off the island of Cyprus, but it was never widely accepted as a pretty fringy theory. The thing that I've seen with Atlantis that I don't know if it's necessarily the most compelling, but I think the most interesting is there's this sort of geological structure in the West Saharan desert that's like, it looks kind of like an eye, or at least like concentric rings of something. And I don't know if that's Atlantis, but if the sea level was significantly higher, that would make sense. I think there's also some accounts of it being more like off of the... why is it not coming to me? Give this guy a big ember. The Canary Islands, or the other island chain that's out there that is escaping me.
Andre Yavastora gets the job done. You shall see.
Chris,
I'll be seeing you there.
I don't want to upgrade it just
Be
yet,
careful.
so we're gonna run around and do something else. See these little movies of guy in a big excavator putting dirt in some little kid's Tonka truck and cringe. Don't do that. Yeah, it's... Heavy machinery is way more dangerous than most people give credit for it, and it's a kind of a miracle that we don't have more issues and accidents. Trust tower control to guide aircraft safely down. Yeah, the whole industry of flying in airplanes involves an incredible amount of trust. Trust in the manufacturing process, trust in the people doing the flying, trust in the people guiding the planes, because there's limits to what the pilots can see. Like they're doing their checks at the beginning of each flight and during the flight, but at the same time there's limits. They can't literally go through every single circuit of the airplane. They're running tests to make sure that the overall function of it is on like what it needs to be. But there was one short that I saw recently where somebody took off a piece of the airplane for maintenance or something, presumably, and then the airplane like pulled away from the gate and started taxiing to the runway, and she was like, I think that there's something missing from the airplane, to one of the flight attendants, and then they were able to come and fix it. And they'll have all this fixed by Midwest rate. Well, so this is also kind of getting to the end before it's appropriate to be at the end, but I don't like this is not something that is a solvable problem in the sense that you can just do certain things and then it'll be fixed. I think that the reality of this is it's a very perennial problem that as people phase in and out of the workforce, that you just get this repeating pattern of you have to recultivate the trust of a group of people again and again over time, because it's different people. I mean, it can be the same culture, but it's different people. Wanted to fly out to visit my mom this year. Well, and here's the question, right? Like, I think even with those accidents, air travel is still safer on a per mile basis than car travel, right? So, what do you do in light of that? Do you acknowledge that the risks are there and that the ones for airlines are going to be significantly higher profile? I probably should have stopped. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to grab the red tombstone ring as the drakes get very angry about me. Attacked by lettuce. Death count is just one so far. My GPT predicted 27. Hey, I'm still at 1 right now, so we're doing okay. Okay, so the way that you kill these things is you back hop off of this and then you plunge attack. And you can thank a YouTuber by the name of Vegeta for that one. He had to do dragon scale farming for a YouTube video, and that was the technique that he came up with, because if he walked off of it front ways, it would not be a consistent double hit plunge attack. So, alright, let's try and get back to our bloodstain in a roughly safe way. Oh man, not even. Well, we can run through the drakes. Now it's 2 Grizz. Now it's 2. Stop and fiddle with trousers and the drakes don't even care. Well, it's more that they're so focused on trying to get at me that they they don't have hands. That's the real problem. They can't climb ladders. Low-key driving phobia and constantly a passenger prisoner. Yeah. That's probably the really hard thing, is that there's just so much that we do in life that is inherently dangerous, and that it makes life much more worth living, I think. being able to travel long distances to be with relatives means that you're able to do stuff that you couldn't otherwise in places that are distant from relatives and still be able to come back and see them. Yeah, there's a lot that driving affords you, but it's just such a risky activity. And it's not the only one. Oh man, okay, we're good. I forget if they can come in here or not. We're about to find out. No, they leave. Okay, that's good. Alright. Back to the Dark Wraiths. There we go. Why? Go away. No. Okay, fine. Okay. Maybe I do actually need to kill them before I go in there. Got all them teeth, ain't got no toothbrushes. Also, I need to start reactivating the elevator so that way I don't have to wait for it to come up every time. They can follow me in. It's great. I love learning. So Dark Souls, it's a very educational game, right? You learn a lot. Yeah. Oh, and the last physical vulnerability thing I wanted to touch on was that it's kind of a miracle when you think about it that civilization got past the sucker punching stage. I know that it's not so much an issue even at the chimps level, but the fact that anything can coexist with other things and not have the constant issue of... Oh, jeez, that was close. Oh, man, the tail whipped me around. Okay, we're good. The fact that we can have people constantly being around each other and not have a consistent issue of people coming up behind others and whacking them in the head is actually kind of wild when you think about it. That'll do. And now we don't have a Drake problem. Always drop cheesy Drakes. I feel like that's like one of those... And remember, folks, always spay and neuter your cats and dogs. But, like, always drop cheesy Drakes. 1, 2... Okay, you didn't do the third one. 1, 2... Come on. There we go. Bye-bye. Clearly someone was never an enlisted man. You know, I wasn't. And that's concerning that that's the response that you gave me. Today's lesson, Drakes can walk through doors, and they hate you. Yes, they do. You thought you could drop your shield there, Mr. Darkwraith. I showed you. Do the big goopy ones respawn? No, they do not. And that guy's still facing the wrong way, so we can just take care of this guy. And then once he's done... Well, that actually knocked his shield back. That was kind of wild. Backstab. At least wait until it is 4. Don't just like preemptively like the stream on the anticipation that I'm gonna die again. Although it probably will happen at some point. Still got to get down to the abyss. Yeah. But so the thing with vulnerability too, though, is it's not just that physical vulnerability. Right? It's not just vulnerability for other people to hurt you intentionally or unintentionally. There's also a significant amount of physical vulnerability in what you ingest. Like, I trust that my city is processing the water that comes to my tap mostly properly. Like, I still do filter my water, but I'm trusting that they're not putting large amounts of heavy metals or large amounts of I'm trying to think what the name of the thing that is coming to my head is. I'm so afraid of what's about to happen to me here that I'm not thinking of it. Organophosphates, there we go. Pesticides. Oh, there's a ghost there. That's upsetting. I don't have a curse down. And there's a danger of me walking off of a cliff backwards if I'm not careful. There we go. Macroplastics. Oh, it's happening. 3 minutes max. We'll start a timer. Put the counter on the screen. Excuse me. There should be another... Oh, there we go. Well, there's also the ghost. Try and bait that out of the wall so I can not have it be a problem anymore. It's not a problem anymore. That was unnervingly close. Again, kind of unnervingly close. Okay, we gotta... Oh, God. Get some distance, take a swig. Okay, well, I walked into its extended sword, and then I got tagged by a spear from a giant monster. Does that go through walls? It probably goes through walls. Yes, it does. I should probably have been a little more careful than that. Let's see here. Let me see if I can set off the skull bomb. Cool. Now I can deal with you without having to worry about you. Oh, gosh. Okay. Good. Stunned. There we go. Much better. Much better. Is this a mimic? No, it's not a mimic. So yeah, you have to trust your water treatment plant to give you water that's sanitary. You have to trust it to give you water that's not filled with toxins of any number of different sorts. And there are a lot of not just like regulatory compliance things, but there's lots of testing that they do for those things if you look into it to try and make sure that... Oh, a dark hand. That's kind of nice. Not that I'm going to use it, but, you know, if you want to steal humanity, that's what you use. So there is a lot of work that goes into trying to make sure that water is of decent quality. But at the same time, you got to trust that the people who are responsible for doing that are actually doing their jobs, are actually keeping up with all of the things that they should be in order to make it happen. And I think that for the most part, that the way that the systems are in place, it actually works out pretty well a lot of the time. But all it takes is one idiot who gets a hold of something that you don't... Like, you can have a very small concentration of it. Oh, I can't use the wolf ring in that one. Can I take off... What happens if I take off Havel's ring? kind of fat rolling, but that should be fine, I think. Anyway. We're going to go down and we're going to see if we can beat the Four Kings. And if I can beat them that quick, then I guess we're just going to continue on to a bit of chaos, and maybe we'll even beat the game tonight. Who knows? Alright. Actually, you know what? Let me finish the thought, and then we'll jump in. And we'll jump in off of a proper diving board, so that way it like looks cinematic. But yeah, the other, like, even if you don't get your water from a city, so you're getting your water from a well, you're trusting that some idiot didn't poison the groundwater upstream of you. And there, especially in New Jersey, there were a number of Superfund sites, is what they're called, where you had people who kept a large number of solvents and other things on their property because somebody else didn't want to pay to dispose of them properly, and so they said, oh, hey, I got a friend over here who could just keep them on their property for a while. And those, like, the containers failed, and that stuff leached into the soil, and it poisoned a lot of people. And you're trusting farmers and food processors to handle your food properly, to not have the conditions where you have lots of insects getting into things, to not be introducing metals from whatever the processing equipment is. Like, that was an interesting one, I think, that I heard with cereal, like cornflakes and stuff, was that they add a small amount of salt to them to help cover up the metallic taste that comes from small amounts of metal particulate that comes from the processing equipment. And it's like, that can't be good. And you're trusting pharmaceutical companies to make good medicine. You want to make sure that there's only what's supposed to be in the medicine and not anything else, and that it's at the correct dose for what you're doing with it. And that's a lot of trust. It's a lot of trust. Yeah, the 3 L's: legislation, laws, and litigation. By voting, you can help keep the human out of your meat products. Oh, what's a few fingers between friends? 60% of the time it works every time. Chris, I live in Mississippi, where the capital city has had its water system taken over by the feds because of bad management. Yep. Well, and that's... Thankfully, there are ways that stuff tends to get resolved because of the dangers. But when you become aware of physical security and you realize how badly it gets managed in so many cases, you realize that it can very, very easily have one idiot come in, there we go, and just poison a whole bunch of people. That's a good start. That's a great start. A missed swing, one swing, and then a death. That's what... There's 4. It took a little bit for me to get to 4. Does the bloviating before I jumped into the boss ring for the first time, does that count against me as far as stream time to the death? Yeah. And some of that vulnerability you can mitigate a little bit, right? Like, if I harvest rainwater, there's not, like, unless there's some acid rain issue, or you're literally in Chernobyl where the rain is bringing down radioactive particulate on your head. Sorry, my butthole is a little bit clenched in this part. Because it's really easy to just get absolutely butt stomped by this. All we have is number of deaths at the end of the stream, totally not a thing to be gambling. Hey, as long as I get my cut at the end, I'm okay with any stream gambling. And we get free dragon scales out of the deal, too. Please tell us more about your... It's not my... Well, I guess it is a little bit my literal butthole, but it's more of just like the butthole pucker effect, you know? Where it's like, I'm about to get schwacked. Oh, that was maybe not the best. That was definitely not the best. Well, at least I didn't get grabbed. Not that it would have mattered. Oh, I can summon an ally for this. That's what I should have done. Okay. We will unhollow and then hopefully get all the way back again. It'll be good. Where is humanity? Lots of souls. There we go. Trying to be the next Destiny here with this commentary. I do not think so, sir. I don't know why I just cracked 2. That was a mistake. Well, you know what we can do? We can kindle the bonfire with that. That was number 5, Grizz. Alright, and we'll kindle it for 10 as discharges. Pro strategy to get all 4 kings out at once and AoE them down. How hard could it be? That is not the pro strat, Slack. That is definitely not the pro strat. The pro strat is you take them all out as quickly as possible so that way you only have one on screen at a time, because they kind of gangbang you if you're not on point with that. Pardon the non-Christian talk. Okay. So talking about rainwater to try and mitigate the risk of, like, city water or groundwater poisoning you. And then you can also try and grow food for yourself. Even if you don't have, like, as long as you're not stuck in an apartment and you have, like, a little bit of land that you can grow stuff on, it's pretty easy to garden and grow a decent amount of food, even if it is just, like, onions, garlic, and potatoes or something like that. But relative to the cost that it would take to buy that stuff at the supermarket, it's not really economically feasible to do so. Oh, is it? Yeah, there was one that didn't die. Is it gonna jump off the... No, it didn't jump off the edge, but it jumped onto the railing. There we go. Oh, you didn't... Sit. Bad Drake. Stream is now age restricted. Oh, I didn't catch that before. Hey, Neutrino. Good to see you. Failure systems leading to disastrous consequences for individual. First time. .gift. Yeah. Well, and it's difficult because oftentimes that failure comes as a surprise to a large number of the individuals. Like everything's working fine, and it's in the best interest of the system to not, like, things usually get worse if something is fragile and then people panic. So it's, like, in the best interest of the system to be deceptive to a certain extent, because they don't want people to panic unnecessarily and then cause even more of a problem. I am not handling this fight well. I'm trying to get a backstab. There we go. But yeah, it's this weird thing. Like, the way that I try and personally strike that balance is, or the way I'm trying to strike that balance, I'm not really there yet, if I'm being honest with myself, is you want to have enough resources available to you so that way you can handle yourself in an emergency for whatever period of time that you need to. And then once that emergency is over, and basically what that is once the people who would be responsible for restoring service Like, what's the level of outcry that's going to happen as a consequence of however many people? And one of the more recent things that's kind of made me recalculate a few things as far as that goes was the way that the way the federal government handled themselves in North Carolina, which honestly, the way that a lot of private citizens handled themselves with respect to that gives me probably more hope than I think was lost as a consequence of that. So, it's one of those weird things where I think more was, oh gosh. Can I just run past these guys and then down in here? Oh, I meant to, well. I will look for her summon sigil next time. I can just jump down, right? I'm gonna get to a nice platform so I make sure I don't clip walls on the way in. Hey, Ron. I'll be switching over to voice chat in just a little bit. Peterson's talk about natural disasters being caused by sin. Yes. That was a big thing for the Katrina stuff. Yes, there was a natural disaster, but it was made significantly worse by the fact that you had corruption that had caused, there we go, the levees and dikes to not be properly maintained. Oh gosh. Get back! Get back! Ah! Not fast enough. No, this is not the kill slack. Especially not if I already forgot my lovely assistant. Alright, let's grab another humanity. And this time, kill everything so that I can look for the summon sigil. Because that's really what we needed. I probably should have the curses ready to go. Yep. And there we go. And reverse following. There is no next time, there is only the now. Well, there is a next time now. Grizz, I'm pretty sure you're just inflating my death numbers at this point. But yeah, so I think that they're... Okay, so it's economically unviable to be prepared relative to people who are just reliant on the system to a certain extent. But I think that there's also a lot that you can do that isn't. Like, one of the things that I'm trying to do is I have a fireplace. I would like to have a wood stove because it burns a lot more efficiently and I can potentially cook on it. And right now the fireplace sends a lot of the thermal energy right up the chimney. And so if I want to actually seriously... Oh my gosh, I'm getting stuck on the drakes. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm talking about butthole punching, is that it's really easy to die there. So there's things that I'm trying to do, steps I'm trying to take to make it so that I'm both more resilient in my own domain, and then also better able to... I didn't even take another drink. So more resilient within my own domain, and then also better able to help take care of other people is the other thing, because if you do get into an emergency situation like that, it's not just going to be you that's in that situation. It's not going to be just you that is cold or hungry or not having any water to drink. It's going to be you and all of your neighbors and maybe the rest of your town and maybe the rest of your state. And so you have to keep that in mind when you're doing that sort of planning, is that you want to have not just enough that you can supply yourself, but also enough that you can share and help alleviate other people's loads so that way they don't become desperate and they don't start doing things out of desperation. Let's go with it. No! Don't just give it to him, Slack. Don't just give it to him. I don't want to kill that one yet. I want to kill the one who's going to charge that way. Here we go. There we go. Hey, Parlato. I don't think I've seen you in stream chat before. It's nice to have you. In your next stream, you'll start streaming with a death handicap of +10. Why? My own fans, my own viewers turning against me. You're arguing with a bona fide estuary leader. I mean, I've led one estuary so far. I need to get my game up with that and actually... Because the one that we were trying to do here in Bremerton didn't quite work out, so what I want to do is do a different venue, and hopefully that will be less of a pain in the butt. So then it won't be an argument, or me arguing with an estuary leader, it will be two estuary leaders arguing with each other. Alright, let's get rid of these guys. Oh, there's another ghost? What? I didn't mean to bait the other guy. That's annoying. If I can get a backstab, that's preferable. Oh man. Don't kick my shield, bro. Don't kick my shield. Oh, this is not good. There we go. Okay. Jiminy crickets. Trying to deal with two of these guys at once is not advisable, and I'm probably dead. Yep, definitely dead. Well, I guess we're going with 9, since apparently I was already at 8. Stop that dash. It's bad enough that Nate and Ken already pulled that ish. I mean, they've had you lead estuaries too, Slack, so you can just throw it right back in their face if you want to. Actually, I should leave the transient curses in my inventory. Although I will have to farm them if I'm not careful here. Let's see. Either that or arbitrarily say it's 9! What, does each death count for 2 deaths now? Is that what this is? Death inflation? Where's hallway? And so yeah, to kind of wrap it up a little bit, and then if/when I die again, I will jump into Discord, so if folks want to come on, they can. A properly functioning society, it really runs on trust. Because there's so many things that you have to be able to trust other people in order for things to run smoothly. But it can't be blind trust, and I think that that's where there's a lot of breakdown right now, is that there's a lot of people who were raised with the idea of just trust things, and they don't see or seem to understand that it's not wise to do that. In general, it's not wise to do that, but especially in the particulars of our modern context, it's not wise to trust blindly in other people. The thing that kind of comes to mind for me as a really poignant example of this... Okay, I'm going to have to wait for him to align himself. But yeah, a thing that comes to mind for me as a really important example of this was the recent Peterson Destiny talk, where like that was basically the through line of the entire argument, was Destiny saying you have to trust people in order for anything to function, and Peterson saying, yeah, but the folks that you have to trust have broken that trust, so what are you going to do? And Destiny basically just ignoring that over and over again. And I did not watch the whole thing. To be honest, my impression of it is from a very limited amount of me watching it, and then the comedic guy turning it into a musical video that somebody posted to the Broken Clock Tower. So forgive me if that is a mischaracterization, but that seemed to be the general thrust of it to me. And within that paradigm, like, yes, Destiny is correct. You do have to put trust in other people in order to be able to function in society. If you don't, then you're just going to be constantly behind everybody else, because there's so much advantage to be gained by being able to trust other people. But Peterson is also correct, because there's so many institutions that we have who have just shown their absolute untrustworthiness. And so it leaves us as citizens and civilians in a very awkward position, because yes, we have to trust in order to function, right? I can't just start only, like, I do have plans to try and do some rainwater harvesting, but that's down the road a little ways. I have to build up the infrastructure to be able to do that. I can't just jump into, oh yeah, I'm gonna throw some stuff outside, and like, it would probably be more expensive for me to do that than to modify the drainage system of my roof and pipe that into a cistern. So there's that long-term plan, right? But I can't. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Well, I think I do more damage to the kings with that, so maybe that's helpful. Actually, let's see. Can I bait? Who gets baited first? Is it the ghosts or is it the dark wraiths? It's the ghosts. Okay. There's one. There's two. Okay. And there's one dark wraith. Come to daddy. There we go. So the question that has been on my mind a lot, and this isn't like a recent thing, this is just like a continual questioning in the back of my mind, is how do you identify when trust is broken? How do you work to rebuild that trust? And how do you identify where and when trust can be rebuilt? Because I don't think that that's always the case necessarily. I think that there's plenty of instances where someone does something, well, and that there's the rub, right? Like, and then this is something that I'm going to get into on a different stream, I think. This idea of has been for your intention of, okay, somebody does something bad, or somebody like consistently does something bad over a long period of time, to the point where they're demonic. What do you do about that? Are they always condemned? Are they always somebody who is evil and can never be trusted again, and you just want to condemn them to hell and then purge them once they're there? Like, what's the play at the end of the day? Or do you give them some opportunity? Is she already shooting? What are you already shooting at? We're not even down there yet. Okay, I guess she can see them. Rainwater harvesting is illegal in some states. In Washington, it is legal. Yes, that is correct, Neutrino. Which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion, but that is the reality that we live in, is that you can actually get in trouble for literally just collecting what comes out of the sky. Alright. And down we go. Also, I should probably do power within, huh? Can I not cast Power Within down here? Well, I guess I will have to cast it before I come down next time. I meant to roll with that. Come on, Beatrice. Hit him. Okay. Oh, that's not good. Well, we got Beatrice in there with us. We did more damage that time. That's number 11. It's number 11 for you guys who are keeping track. And by the way, it's not actually number 11. It's number 10 for realsies. Maybe, if there wasn't an extra one that was put in there at some point. Yeah. And I don't know. I think that, just to wrap up my thoughts with that, I think that Destiny's untrustworthy for other reasons too, but I think that in that particular instance there's some questions in my mind about does he want there to be more trust in certain places because it's advantageous to him, because it means that he can then exploit that trust. And that's definitely reading into it a bit extra, but it's one of those like questions that I have, not just for him in specific, but in a more general sense of like, are there people who are in that sort of manipulative mode, that manipulative mindset, that want to keep things high trust so that way they can continue taking advantage of the other people who are in that situation. Yeah. And let me pull up Discord. Now, hop in. Anybody else who wants to come in? Looks like Ron popped back out again. We'll share Dark Souls so whoever's in there can see it. Derek Zoolander Center for Children Who Can't Count Good and Want to Learn and Do Other Stuff Too. Is that what I need to change the stream title to? Yeah, and to Neutrino's comment, there are high trust societies and low trust societies. That's definitely the case. But it's not like a static thing. It's kind of like this modifier scale where you start with things. That's not what I wanted you to do. I wanted to come and bring this over here so that way I can actually see who jumps into Discord rather than just trying to guess by voices. Oh, okay, we just barely made it out of the elevator. That would have been awkward. And the U.S., for all of its flaws, is, I would still say, a fairly high-trust society. There's still a lot of things that you can do here that you just would not be able to do in a lot of other countries in the world. And there's a lot of that we just kind of take for granted, which is a shame, because we don't. Most people who live here do not understand how good that we have it as a consequence of, in large part because of, as a consequence of the trust that we've built and developed. Oh, this is why we take off the extra items when we're not using them. And now I have to refine my Pyromancer glove, just towards the bottom. There we go. Okay, we have to use Power Within before we go in, so we got to keep that in mind. Ups, US Band Red, number 3, artificial coloring. in food 2 weeks ago due to health concerns, but the decision will come into effect in 2027. Yep. Well, and that's the other thing too, is that there's so much of this stuff that everything is so interconnected and interwoven that it's really difficult to, like, you can't just say ban it, because what that then impacts is all of the other processes and all the other products that have been using that, and you have to give, like, unless you want to completely not have those products exist anymore. I was trying to target and it did not target. There we go. You have to allow for time, and you have to allow the thankfully low grade but still poison. You have to allow that poison to continue propagating through your population to make it so that there isn't other damage that's potentially worse that happens. Most people agree low trust societies kind of suck. Yeah, but the difficulty with that is that so many of them are it's not just, oh, we're in a low trust society. It's this consequence of aggregated bad behavior by a lot of people within that society. And it usually takes, and it's actually, I don't know. It's one of those hard to say exactly what the cause of it is sorts of things, because like with the Soviet Union, there was definitely a lot of top-down corruption problems that were causing a significant number of the issues. But there was also a lot of dishonesty on the part of all the people who were within the Soviet Union, and it's one of those, okay, with chicken or the egg, is it that the corruption is being enabled, or is it that I really don't want to, hang on, let me see if I can take care of these with just, okay, that's just rude. I was in a menu. Thank you. There we go. Jagged Ghost Blade. It might actually be worthwhile for me to go back and get this upgraded, but especially because like I can't block with my shield while I'm, oh, that's just great. I am wielding the wrong frickin' item. Well, let's see how much a backstab from one of these will do. 29. That's not good. Can he menu and run and not die? He can. Magically. There we go. EOS is high trust, ultimate low trust space, high school. Hated having to ask to use the bathroom. Yeah, it's like an artificially induced low trust society too, which is that's probably the most frustrating part of it, is that it can be made worse intentionally. I'm just gonna put on, it's up, it's towards the top, isn't it? Where is it? There we go. Dragon Ghost Blade. You know, you could just like ask, and then you're just gonna float away. Can you come back out? Can you come say hello? Can I can't ask you a question, but can I knife you a question? Is that acceptable? Oh, there's 3 of them. Yeah, it takes 3 hits to kill it with an unupgraded one. I think it gets down to 2, even two-handed. It's kind of a pain, but probably better than nothing. Probably better than continuing to use those curses and running out of them. How much trust one should have for any given society is a bit of a zeitgeist issue. It is, in part. But the kind of counter that I would have to that is that there's like the zeitgeist could tell you that this is the level of trust that you should have for your society, but the reality of it is that, especially if you are a particular minority within that society, that you actually can't give that level of trust. And that's not just a minority in terms of like a physical minority or cultural minority, or more. And when I say cultural minority, I'm getting it more like macro culture, but like there's certain hobbies, right? Like gaming is more acceptable to talk about now, but it used to be that if you were somebody who played games, that wasn't something that you could talk about in job interviews and be taken seriously. Even though there's lots of games that require immense amounts of skill and talent in order to be able to play well. Can I still do this inside of the fog wall? I really hope I can. It's going to be unfortunate if I can't. Please don't hit me, Beatrice. Please don't hit me. Let's go down towards the bottom. She really does not like these 4 kings. Okay. We're going to go down, we're going to take a sip. We're going to put the power in. And then we're going to go fight some kings. And hopefully kill them this time. Okay. Take a sip. Put that power in. That power within. And then down we go. I expect to see all my favorite red food dye number 2 discounted. I mean, that would be nice, but I also don't expect that to be the case. Oh, and I actually made it all the way back to my bloodstain. That's kind of exciting. Oh, that's not nice. Beatrice, where's your cast? Oh, that's not nice. Okay, that was really weird. Oh. Well, I was gonna die if I didn't back up on that anyway. It's interesting that Beatrice can actually sustain the soul drain from him. Okay. We got 9 more humanity and 1 twin humanity, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, that's 11. The number of transformation. I don't think we need to worry about any more kindling. I think 10 charges is doing it just fine. Yeah, corruption at the top and among regular people, like capitalism. So, gosh, I don't want to have a capitalism fight on stream. The thing that's frustrating to me about that is that I don't think that ownership of the means of production makes sense to be done in any other way than private. The thing that I have an issue with is not that. The thing I have an issue with is corporatism, and more specifically, the idea that was promulgated by Milton Friedman back in the 1970s of the only responsibility of companies being to shareholder value. I think that that was grossly incorrect, and that mistake or that lie is something that we have been paying for quite a long time. And Milton Friedman, I think, was generally a pretty good economist, from what I understand. But that one issue of the only responsibility of a corporation is the increase of shareholder value. Like that's not just a lie. That's like a damned lie. That's like the kind of lie that you tell yourself to make yourself feel okay about doing something that's profitable for you that kills kids or kills kittens or something. Like, it's just not... It just throws all other morals and ethics completely out of the window. Who would have expected a government system based on greed might be rife with corruption? Yeah. I'm sure the corporate executives... No, I think I should probably focus on this guy. There we go. Corporate executives are all extremely ethical. Nobody cheats for their own personal gain. Yeah, definitely not. And it's definitely not a thing for Big Army that their unit status reporting is intentionally changed based off of the numbers, or that the actual numbers, or the numbers that they base their planning off of, are changed from the ones that are reported because they know that people lie about them because they're used for promotion determinations. That's definitely not the case. All sorts of things can be done to a person to put them into a more trusting state. Yep. Absolutely true, Neutrino. One of the things that I do want to talk about eventually is this idea of the succubus pattern. And that's one of the sort of anesthetic techniques that's used for that, is to make the target be more trusting towards the succubus or whatever is acting in the manner of a succubus. I should probably back up and drink some. Yeah, I can drink. Go. Of course she doesn't. Why else would she be able to drop the power? Infinite growth is totally sustainable. So I think that it can be. Like, unironically, I think that infinite growth can be sustainable. But it can't be sustainable doing it the same way, because... And I forget if I mentioned this on stream before, but one of the things that you have to keep in mind as you're going through this stuff is there's thresholds that you don't even know exist, that you don't understand how they're going to behave until you hit them. And what I mean by that is stuff like the salt trade in the American Revolution. And I don't know if that baits him out, but I'm trying to bait the ghosts. Okay. Here, ghosty, ghosty, ghosty. There's one, there's two. Okay, I think there's a third one that comes out too, but I need to be prepared for... Oh, he didn't want to come. Oh, there he is. There he is, our little dark wraith friend.
Oh, hello, sir.
Hey, Ron. How's it going?
Oh, I was just about ready to crash, but I had to come in at least once and hang out on the couch.
I appreciate it. I started watching the video that you posted earlier, but I did not get a chance to finish it.
It's a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good one, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like your feedback.
Mm-hmm. I'll give it.
It's yeah. So how's your noggin, dude?
It's doing okay. I slept a lot this past week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was almost upsetting how much.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like I know that I don't know how injured I am, and I need to just let things rest rather than trying to force them. So.
Mm-hmm. Please, just because I want to see you die properly, video-wise. I can't cheer against you with a clean conscience if I know you're not your top, peak performance.
Gotta get nice and healed up before I can be...
Yes. Yeah, no, it's like the Princess Bride.
Oh my gosh, you read my freaking mind.
That's where I got it from. So it's, who was that? Was that Humperdinck or Lord?
Well, Wesley was the guy getting killed. What was the name of? Humperdinck. Humperdinck.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. he was a good bad guy. I didn't like him.
I mean, that's kind
He
of
was
the
a-
point of a bad guy, right?
Well, no, some good guys, some bad guys you really like. Jaws in James Bond at the end turned out to be a nice guy. All he had to do is meet his little Norwegian vixen, and that just turned him around. And he seemed like an okay guy after that. Bad dentures will make you angry. It's just so.
It's that discomfort in the mouth.
Yeah. So, bad guys. Anyhow, Humperdinck. Now, he was a guy I'm like, when he died, I don't know if he died in his
No, he
Princess
didn't.
Bride. Well, I'm guessing.
He did not.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, that was a big plot point of it, was that the bad guy doesn't always die.
Oh, I don't like that. I want vengeance.
I
I
mean...
want my pound of flesh.
I mean... Vengeance is nice when you get
I
it,
mean,
but it's not...
I want to kill. Kill.
You're gonna bring that out every time on stream, aren't you?
Maybe, when it's appropriate.
Okay. It's
Just-
that talking with an army guy thing.
Right. That's right. It works doubly well. You're eyeball.
Well, let's try
So,
and
but
not die here.
No dying. No dying. So
Come on,
you're
Beatrice.
sleeping a lot.
Sleeping a lot. And, yeah, no, it's been... Oh, what the frack? He wasn't even looking at me. Oh, I think I got hit from behind, didn't I? Yeah, there was another one who came in.
Sneaky buggers.
Sneaky buggers. So the reason it's called the Four Kings fight is because I think actually 5 of them can be active at once, but usually after you kill 4 of them, you've done enough damage that they go away.
Oh.
So, and yes, number 12 for those counting at home.
For those of you counting at home, Avril has died 12 times.
12 times. 12 times. So.
So what's the ETA on your brain getting rebooted and configured properly?
So that's actually something that I kind of want to talk to you about, and
Okay.
I didn't really think about it until just now, but one of the things that's been interesting is that especially in like the waking moments that I've had, take a sip real quick. Not a game sip, an actual sip. I've been having these really interesting kind of best way I can think of to phrase it is like conversations with my guardian angel, and
Okay.
in a way that's like helping me to reset the way that I'm thinking about things in a more positive direction, especially about like negative self-talk and stuff like that. And it's just I don't know if it's the concussion. I don't know if it's the getting more sleep and so getting plenty of sleep. But it's just one of those interesting things to note. Is like I'm having these conversations and they seem to be generally positive. They seem to be helpful as far as helping me get my head right. And you seem somebody who's more qualified than most, at least, to tell that and to see what your thoughts are.
First off, I appreciate you sharing any of this, and always be careful to guard secrets of your heart.
Yep.
Because we are on the internet, and I don't. So we cool to talk in public like this? I mean, if we
about
are,
this, yeah.
I mean, it's not. Okay, cool. So let's just start with cool when it's okay, when something happens, I always look at the end game or how it's helping in the moment. When good, when bad, reject. So, and whether it's spiritual or not, that's for you to determine. But Um, I've seen God is subtle, to be honest with you. He's not always a sledgehammer and talking loud. Sometimes it's nuances. He's very nuanced. So what do you think? I went the long way around that mountain, but what is this? What's this guy saying, and what do you think?
Well, let's see. Let's start with what he's saying first. So I tend to struggle, and I've talked about this with you a little bit in private, but I struggle quite a bit with like negative self-talk. I struggle a lot
Right.
with wondering if like, are the things that I'm doing actually good, or am I hurting people accidentally or incidentally, and just worrying a lot about things from that front, and then and this is the hard part too, is because it's in those waking moments, it actually it makes it hard to remember the specifics. But I think
When
that
did it?
it's not that. And so this is okay. This is kind of the question I wanted to ask you, was that have you seen other examples of somebody who has been in an accident, had a concussion, and did that sort of thin the veil for them, so to speak?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, dude, all the time.
Because
That's what drugs do.
Okay.
Drugs, trauma, so my answer is yes. That's a definitive, and that's not even a woo thing. That's just like statistical, like someone, yeah. So I don't have to defend that, or I don't know how to put it, but that's just an easy yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. It's one of those, because I've definitely had conversations with that guardian angel, and one of the things that pretty consistently comes up on my end is this question of, okay, well, how do I have any trust that you're not something being deceptive? And not just that,
Sure.
but like there's loads of questions. That's just one of them. The other big one being like, how do I know that I'm not just deluding myself, and that you're not just a part of my own psyche, that like I'm just talking with myself?
So I can shoot those two down pretty easy, or at least I have a grid for those two. What else you got?
Actually, let me react to chat real quick, because there's a couple people that I've noticed that said stuff that I wanted to say back to. Hey Mills,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're here too. I was thinking about maybe not streaming, but I was like, I'm feeling better, and it would be a good test to see where my brain's at, and amongst friends. So I think that would be good.
I got it.
Life happens unexpectedly, as does death in this case. More dragons are never a bad thing. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. So, what were your thoughts on those two quandaries, I guess?
Well, they're actually. I think those are actually pretty easy to deal with. I am a professional landscaper, so I know everything about digging out roots and problems. But the theological stuff, you're at your own. For those that are in the audience, listen at your own risk. With that out of the way,
This does not
Well,
constitute theological advice. For your own instance,
Exactly.
please consult your own priest, preacher,
Yes.
pastor, or
Right.
other person of faith of
Right.
choice.
All right. So now that we got the disclaimer out the way, for me, to know, regardless if it's your imagination or a person, good or bad, the way I discern it is simple, good, bad at the beginning, right at the outset, and then work it in a more granular way as you go. And fruits of the spirit are great, great to have in your head. And then just the Bible in general, New Testament especially, not Old Testament wrath stuff, but and then so that's for people, places, or things. Go. As you start with that, does that answer that question, or do you have more? I want to take them one at a time.
So it's not that I necessarily have these as questions for you regarding this, and although I do appreciate like going over them with you, because the thought process for me personally, like I've already like kind of contested with and wrestled with a lot of these things, and to a certain degree hold some stuff in tension in my mind, like holding in tension the idea that, oh, this could be just part of my psyche versus this could be something that's external to me that's communicating with me, right? Like there's that idea that I have in my own mind.
Sure.
And holding in tension the idea of, is this something that's a good influence? Is this something that's a bad influence? Is this something that's what is the nature of this thing? Is it an angel? Is it a demon? And the fruits thing is a big part of it, and also in a weird way it's a vibes thing.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like you can almost sense the intent of whatever it is that you're talking with, and that's, I think that's the case with people too. Like this is not just like a woo-woo thing. Like you can, and it's not a guaranteed thing either. That's the kind of frightening thing. Oh, that's rude. That's rude, sir. You just gonna walk over there? Just gonna walk away from the scene of the crime? Ugh. But yeah, and it's one of the big things, and I think we talked about this a bit on the 30 Minutes episode that we did on your stream too, was like, what is it that you have to be kind of like looking out for and thinking about as you're going through this stuff. And again, it's not just, and this is the thing that's wild to me, and this is the reason why I am so interested in like Defense Against the Dark Arts as a concept, is because all of the stuff that is applicable to, if you are someone who is prone to believing in the woo, anything that is applicable to dealing with spirits is just as, if not more, applicable to dealing with other people.
Right.
And that's something that I think a lot of people miss, is like,
oh,
how do you know who to trust, right? How do you know what's good, what's bad, what's in between, like what levels different people are at, what their motivations are, how to tease that apart. Like that's not something that you can even trivially do with human beings. So how do you do that with people first, and then once you kind of get the gist of that with people, it seems like it's the same sort of a pattern to me, just scaled up a level.
Oh, dude,
does that
it.
sense?
Yeah, no, I think actually that takes it, makes it unmystical in a good way. It's just good old-fashioned common sense in a biblical way. And I think, yeah, okay, I like that. I like that quite a bit. So how does that help you out then?
I mean, it helps me out. Hang on, let me deal with this guy first. So it helps me out because it's sort of like, okay, even if I was just talking to another human being about the thoughts that are running through my head, which is a bit more challenging sometimes, just because there's other things to deal with when you're talking about sensitive things with people,
Mm-hmm.
especially people that you have relationships with. Like,
Yeah.
it's not really conducive to, like, you should be able to talk about anything with your partner, but at the same time, if the only thing that you ever bring up is your insecurities with your wife, it's probably not going to go well for anybody involved.
Well, I, I, I'm not married. I've been in bad relationships, but anyhow, so I'm tracking with you.
Hmm.
I would, I would, I would always suggest. Actually, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna listen. So, okay, here we are talking.
Hmm.
So, I am the outside source that doesn't have a dog in this fight. So I can. It's like having a buddy who's a mechanic, and you're like, "Hey, What do you think about this machinery I'm looking at?" So anyhow, go ahead.
And then, like, even with friends, right? Like, you don't want to bring down the vibe too much. Like, yes, there's going to be times and places where you're going to want to share more difficult things, and that you can then work through stuff. That's important too.
Right.
But you
Right.
don't. It's not appropriate or healthy or helpful. Is this an invisible wall? It is, and I just died again because I rolled into the water.
Oh, I missed it.
That's great.
Oh, that's
Environmental deaths. And to answer Cassandra's question, we didn't this Saturday, but me, Mills, and Ups have been meeting for Defense Against the Dark Arts, but we haven't been doing it publicly, just because the vibe that we have when it's just the three of us is a little bit different than when we try and open it up. It tended to get a little bit more me lecturing rather than the three of us discussing. But we do want to open it back up. It's just one of those, we're not quite sure how to do it in a way that still preserves the jam sesh that seems to be generative for the three of us. So. But yeah, so it's the way that I'm kind of thinking about it is, okay, there seems to be this thing that wants me to work through these issues that I'm struggling with.
Okay.
And it's willing to tolerate a lot more of my nonsense than most people would be willing to tolerate.
That sounds like God.
Mm-hmm. Or at least like a messenger of God.
Yeah, well, Team Jesus.
Yep.
Just all throughout. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyhow, okay. Especially when it's. So go ahead. I'm liking so far what I'm hearing.
So hang on, I just want to get past the drinks first. There we go. Okay. And hopefully one of them doesn't decide to glitch weird and I can actually get down to the boss this time. Okay. Sorry, what was the question again?
No, we were. Hold on a
Talking
second. I'll pull
about
up.
questions that I ask, or
Oh, you said. Oh, wait. It's It was tolerant and patient with you, and I said that sounds like God.
yep.
Okay. Oh, because you're dealing with your issues or an issue or something,
Well, just
and
the way that I like, and this is so one of the things that I have been really struggling with. Not to turn this into like a public therapy session, but I think
Right.
that this kind of a conversation tends to be helpful because I'd like to think that it does. Maybe this is just me being weird, but that's getting, I think, a little too meta with it.
no,
But like how
that would help.
to talk productively about the things that are bothering you, I think is something that doesn't really get presented to people as often as maybe it ought to.
Right.
Like, just talking, there's a coach guy who I get, well, coaching and mentoring from, less mentoring, more just coaching, that I met while I was working on the shipyard. And we have a pretty close relationship. He appreciates the level of thought that I tend to bring into our sessions. And I was kind of working with him even before he was doing coaching proper, so I've been kind of helping to encourage him to say, like, hey man, the stuff that you have to say to me, at least, I find very helpful and valuable, and I'm willing to pay for it even when it's not, because when I was working in the shipyard, it was just shipyard time for both of us, and then he would put that on as like hours for his certification. Oh, I didn't mean to drink it yet. There we go. All right, there we go. And so he's talked with me a little bit about some of the difficulties, no names, mind you, but some of the difficulties that he's had with other clients, and like trying to get them to look and see like where their difficulties are stemming from, and the sort of the not necessarily negative thought patterns, but the thought patterns that are creating negative consequences for them, and how that's caused by their own thought patterns. It's not caused by anything external to them. It's just whatever's going on in their own head. And I can definitely get myself wrapped around too much of an axle, where I'm like not just too critical of myself, but like trying to look at things from a whole bunch of different angles all at the same time. Like, especially from the perspective of, oh, am I being self-deceptive here? Am I being self-deceptive here? Am I being self-deceptive here? And at a certain point, I think it just kind of gets unproductive. And it's difficult because, like, I don't want to miss any of that. I don't want to be... I don't want to be self-deceptive. I don't want to allow myself to fall into that. But at the same time, it's really difficult to not do that so much to the point that it becomes its own problem.
Okay, so now that I've heard this, my question is, tell me about the good that you think might be happening. With
respect to the conversation specifically, or?
Well, here's the thing, and I hope I'm not doing a gear shift on you.
No,
but like I understand.
Could probably use a gear shift.
Okay, so all right, instead of me gear shifting, let's go on with your train of thought.
Okay.
So you've just described who you think you are. And so okay. Here's
the struggles that I've been having, because this is probably going to be more explanatory. I have been really struggling with motivation at work. Like, I, from an intellectual capacity perspective, can absolutely do everything that I'm being asked to do. No problem, no questions asked.
Yeah.
But I find myself just not terribly interested, or like I don't appreciate the way that my coworkers or supervisor or whatever are handling certain things, and so it's almost like part of me thinks that it's entitled to push back by sandbagging almost. Like it's not a conscious effort, mind you, but this is just like I will be at my desk and I will just be sitting there and just cannot do anything. And it's incredibly frustrating to me, because it's like, no, like, I know I need to be doing this. I know I need to be working on it. And it's like, no, you don't. And that's not, I don't think, like, and that's, okay, that I don't think is the same part that is, like, the guardian angel, but
Okay.
it's in there.
Okay. 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 I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
I am tracking with you, and I remember we've talked about stuff like this before.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand. I understand this forest that you're talking about because we've talked through this before. It's not the exact same one because you've gone through much worse,
Oh yeah.
and you come out successful on the other side.
Well, and that's part of why I kind of enjoy talking. Like, I want to talk about this publicly with you because this is stuff that I feel like a lot of people struggle with in silence. And oh man, don't kill me. There we go. Okay. Whew. That was closer than it should have been. Oh, and I got more transient curses. That's nice. I missed Slack doing an amazing rant about work on Tuesday. Well, that's what I get for getting a concussion and deciding that sleep and rest were probably more important than trying to take an hour drive down to Olympia and then hang out with y'all for 2 hours. How selfish of me.
So the doctors told you to sleep as much as you need?
Not so much the doctors. It was actually, it's kind of a weird work relationship. I have a supervisor who is the guy who hired me, who is the guy who works at the same location as I do. And then a couple months ago, he has too many people on his team now, and so he needed to kind of push a couple of people down a level. And so he put me under this other gal who... There's some, like, frustration between the two of us about, like, how we each tend to do work. Like, I still have a lot of respect for her, and I would like to think that she has a decent amount of respect for me, at least in the quality of the work that I can produce. But I tend to struggle with getting things done at the proper speed, or at least at a speed that they consider appropriate.
Right.
But yeah, no, that. But she had apparently had concussion issues in the past, and was like, "Look, don't worry. Like, still do work, but don't worry too much about that. Just focus on making sure that you get yourself well rested," because she tried to go back to work too quickly, and as a consequence of it, she delayed her healing process significantly. So she wanted to make sure that I didn't deal with that same consequence.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you have expert advice.
At least experienced advice.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Can I back away? Nope.
I want a recording of that. That brings me such joy. That too, that's a good one. Like, I need to...
I think my wife was joking with me earlier that there needs to be like a compilation of Afriel death noises.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh man.
That would be, yeah.
Big hug. Big hug. And up says Mills and him have 1 or 2 new data terms today for the lexicon. Let's see what those are later. Zeroing on some core things. So many species of critters to cover, though. Yeah, that's kind of the issue that we've been struggling with Defense Against the Dark Arts. It's just like there's so it's because it's something that is new, relatively speaking. How do you take it from nothing into something that is coherent enough to be useful to people?
Yeah, well, all right. Let me try to do something here. Because if I can hit a bullseye without even knowing the story, then I've really at my best. Well, I'll just say, listen, I'm talking too much. Okay, here's the deal. I'm just going to tear through this thing.
Okay.
Fruits of the Spirit is your baseline. Jesus is the origin point, and he's the coach. Run you got a question, go talk to him. Ask him some direct questions. Hey, is this real or is it in my head? And if it is real, is this a good guy or a bad guy?
Well, and here's the thing, like, asking those sorts of questions, the answers that I get are very coy, but also very much in the spirit of, I didn't mean to. No, stop drinking. That's not what I want you to do. Alright. There we go. And I didn't kill the other one. Oh gosh. That was a little close. There we go. There we go. Okay. But basically it's like, you don't have to keep talking to me if you don't want to.
No.
It's and
oh no, dude.
But it's one of those like
I enjoy this. This is my jam. It's a little late for me because eventually I'm going to have to bail here because it's for me it's the wee hours. But this is, to be honest, like this is what I do because this is what I needed for so many years. I was walking through confusion and darkness by myself until I, air quote, accidentally met the right people. And I freaking hate it that people go through any amount of time without good, solid, biblical understanding of this thing that would jokingly be called, like I sarcastically called woo, but it's actually the fundamental foundation of reality that we live in, whether you know it or not, or like it or not. This is the way the world works. And once you learn it, though, it's not complicated, and it's pretty easy, and it can get kind of fun. And it's like changing a tire. Like if no one's ever shown you, and all you have is maybe a manual in your glove compartment, you can feel stranded and you're not in a good spot. You're vulnerable. You feel afraid. But if you have been taught it and, been shown and helped, and then you're like, oh, okay, we got a flat. Give me 15 minutes. We'll be rolling. That's what I at my best. So here we are.
So
you don't have a flat. I think you got something good going on.
I do too. The thing that is, I think, the most difficult for me personally is that because I've had, and I did see your suggestion before, Slasher, about getting a bottomless box, or what I might do is I might just feed a ton of this to Frampt the next time I get a chance to. That also, I think, would work better than continuing to cycle through lots of things. But yeah, the you turd. There we go. I have some really hard times with trusting authority. Trusting any authority, just because like I've had that trust betrayed, and not in like a cosmic or a theological sense necessarily, but just like in meat space life, right? Like I've just had issues with people.
Right.
So, from that perspective, it makes like there's.
Does this relate back to God then?
It does to a certain extent, because it starts to dip into like Gnostic heresy territory almost to a certain extent. And
well, no, like dude, for you not trusting God, welcome to the club.
Oh my gosh.
Did you die? I missed
I
you.
died.
Sorry.
I thought I was holding shield, so that way I thought that I would like bring
Right.
my shield up between his first and second hits, but
Okay.
apparently, because I don't have the wolf ring on, which by the way, why? Okay. No, I do have the wolf ring on. So then why? Okay, maybe I just okay.
You're dead. Deal with it.
I died.
Move on.
I died. That's the
You
that's the
died.
gist.
That's it.
What's if I go, what's the quickest way to get a bottomless box? I think back up this way. We'll do that real quick just so I can stop messing around as much in my inventory. Also, I'm running out of humanity, so maybe a break and then try again will be good. Or maybe I just have concussion brain and I'm not going to get... This is going to be another delivered on the thumbnail in the sense that we got to the boss, but not in the sense that we killed it. But yeah. So it's not so much that I don't... I trust God in the sense of whatever is the highest high. The most high. I think that whatever that is has to be good in an act, like, or, and this is another weird thought that I've been having. It either has to be positive sum or it has to be part of a union of positive and negative sum such that positive sum is included. Because it just doesn't make sense to me otherwise. But I don't. I'm not sold on that second part. I'm really not sold on that.
No, actually, I would
union.
just as from the peanut gallery. The peanut gallery votes hard no on number 2.
Okay.
But also, I need to apologize because you're laying out your thoughts, so I don't need to judge them as they come out. I just need to listen.
Well, so. If this were a different kind of conversation or a different sort of relationship, I would say that's the case. But honestly, I would rather get the pushback real time.
Okay, cool.
That kind of
Okay, cool. All right, I don't. Okay, all right, cool. I don't want to be rude. All right. So so let's just go with as a fellow mechanic. I'm like, no, we're gonna go 1. A hard. Yeah, we're
Hard
an
one.
absolute. Yeah, that's like. Yep. That's the answer. So with that out the way, so now that you got that trill,
Yep. And I'm willing to take that as the assumption too, to at least as like a working assumption.
yeah.
So the Most High has to have that property, has to be positive sum.
Right.
And I think that's a like I see that as a reasonable assumption. But then the question becomes, are there layers between me and that? And if there are, what's the nature of those layers? What's the nature of those intermediaries?
The answer is, if I may, I'm guessing yes. And and what it looks like is like the movie Labyrinth,
Okay.
or what is it? That one movie where basically take your hero, like, you got opposition. So yeah, you got some schmo seraphim, who decided to try to bum rush the old man, and he got smoked. And so now he's trying to botch the game. He's like, he lost the game, but he's like, oh, okay, well, until he cleans house, I'm gonna wreck it. And we got a bad roommate for a little while. And he's the worst roommate possible, but we've got help in a variety of ways. And first and foremost, I would have to say the Spirit of God that dwells in and with us. This is going to sound so odd because I don't know. Trust your heart more than you think, especially in conjunction with his word that you know.
Mm.
Like, but it's like it's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, not Father, Son, and Holy Bible. And I'm Protestant, Pentecostal-ish. So for me to say that is heresy and
Sola
blasphemy.
Scriptura, Ron. Come on. Where's
I
your
know.
confessionalism here?
That's yeah, I know. So, but in cases like this, and actually, I think a lot more.
Mhm.
I think let's go with life. You marry the girl. You marry someone not just because they look good on paper.
Mhm.
You know, but though you value the paper, and that's maybe part of it, and it might be very valuable, but though the relationship is beyond paper. So it's either God's real and he talks, or he doesn't.
Mhm.
But God is not wishy-washy.
Okay.
He's not going to help you a little bit and then dump you. It's
Well,
either he's all in, or let's go to the cross. Either the cross is real
uh-huh.
or it's not. And let's just assume it is.
Mhm.
And then
Well, the pattern
in
is real.
life,
The pattern is 100% real. And I believe
but
that the pattern was instantiated in order to make the pattern real. But that's...
I'm not
Does that make
quite.
sense?
Well, I don't understand the English because because I'll go more rough,
Okay.
and I'll just say
Actually,
there was a Jewish guy named Jesus,
Mhm.
born of a Nicene Creed. Let's just go with Nicene Creed for 200, all in.
Mm.
At least work with me from that angle.
Mhm.
Does that help move
Yep.
the conversation? Because
I'm not
didn't
sure if I
quite
buy into the Nicene Creed wholesale, but I'm willing to
well,
go with it for entertainment or entertaining the
okay,
conversations.
yeah, because I didn't understand what you meant with the pattern, and I don't want to spend. I want to get.
What can I explain what I mean by that? By the way, then
Yeah, sure.
and I'll see if I
Okay.
can recall it. But that triggered a memory of like one of the sort of waking moment conversations that I had that I want to bring up.
Okay. Then the
Um,
only thing I'd ask you to do is remind me that what we're rabbit trailing is. We have something in between us and God. That's what's called this. That's what this whole conversation's about.
yep.
Okay, but you're gonna have to remind me because I might try to an ed. I might get lost in the weeds here, but now that I've said that, okay, let it rip.
Okay. And I'm going to be a bit of a pack rat and not just feed things to Framp. We're just going to go ahead and get a bottomless box and hoard all of my items. Or at least hoard a bunch of them. So, one of the things that I had mentioned to you was sort of healing that I had at Northwestuary, and
Yes.
one of the things... Oh, please do not die here. That would be very embarrassing. Which, by the way, I don't think I'm going to get the kill on this stream, just based off of my play. So I didn't live up to the healing, as I don't think I was even necessarily expected to, was the weird thing, thinking about it. Like, the more I've been thinking about it, the more that seems to be true.
Okay.
And, no, that was not a good spot. Okay, there we go. But that was something that I've kind of had to come to terms with myself, was like, hey, if God makes it, or if an angel makes it so that you're no longer feeling temptation for a particular thing, and you later on feel that temptation again and give into that temptation,
Right.
what does that say about you and your relationship with that forgiveness, with that what God was willing to give to you, right? And that was
Right.
like, I didn't really know how to think about that for a while there. and it was one of those like I don't even want to ask for forgiveness again. I don't want to ask for that blessing again, because I feel like that what's just going to inevitably happen is I'm just going to mess it up again. And I would rather just live
then I have
uncleanly
Uh-huh.
than to be clean
Okay.
and then become unclean again and again and again. Like, that
Now
just seems
I'm
worse.
going to.
And I was
This is
corrected
this
that
is
that's
where.
not actually the
Okay.
case. Sorry.
This is where I need to correct you massively.
Okay.
Your identity is you are completely wrong about who you are,
Okay.
even with everything you told me.
Okay.
The first thing you got to deal with, it's like being married.
Okay.
You are married to your wife and your wife is married to you. Who does or doesn't do the dishes on the right day doesn't define your spousal relationship.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is the thing you have to do, all of us, because it's a real important, it's a way of functioning that makes a difference. You are a beloved son of God in whom he is well pleased, regardless of whether you did the dishes or not, or even if you purposely broke them, or if you went prodigal on them.
So here's the issue for me. Like, I cannot conceive of unconditional love like that. Like, that's
Okay.
I feel like that's a failing on me, but at the same time, it's like, okay, oh, come on. Let me get past this guy. There we go. Okay. Like, how to explain?
Can't believe it.
I know how the world works well enough in part because I strained the relationship that I had with my own parents.
Sure, I
and
gotcha.
because of our finite limitations as human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and even I think
God's
within
not
God's
finite.
infinite being, the nature and the shape of the love that He gives to us has to change. Has to change
Listen,
over time.
but what I'm
in response to our actions
does.
or our failings, what have you.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I am a grace guy. But here's and what I did. What it is my process is this. You first, in the midst of whatever disappointment you think you are doing or interacting with, or you actually know you're doing, the first thing you do is, I am not a failure bound to fail again. That is forgiven.
Okay.
Because then you're destined to, you're prophesying your own failure.
Yep.
Like, I'm just a sinner saved by grace. Now, yeah, we were sinners, but once you do the deal with Jesus, you are a saint. Now, imagine being on a football team.
I don't
you
know
might
if I
not
can
be the
believe
best.
that, though. Like, that's...
No. You hear me out.
Okay.
I'm not asking, because it is not about belief.
Okay.
It is faith first.
Okay.
Faith and belief are they're somewhat related, but faith comes by hearing.
Okay.
Now, hopefully, I am giving the proper word of God, but you can start with disbelief with faith. It's just that the faith has to grow to overcome the disbelief. If I never tell you to look at yourself, even if you don't like it or believe it, and say, I need you to look at yourself as a saint, before, during, and after whatever problems we have in our life. Repentance is a legitimate part of the process, though. And repentance is not beating yourself up. It is going, I wish it's okay. No, actually, okay. Dude, I know heroin addicts who were, as they were shooting up, said, God, I know you love me, and I know you forgive me, and I know I'm your son, and I know you're going to free me someday. And they are. with my friend's mommy. And like, I know this stuff works. Now, I came in hating Jesus and not believing him. But the smallest modicum of faith was my friend who was brilliant. She goes, you believe in reincarnation? I go, you betcha. And because I was a Buddhist believing in reincarnation, she goes, well, I'll tell you what, Buddha boy, why don't you give your heart to Jesus
Buddha.
this lifetime? And if it doesn't work out, you can go back to Buddha. And I'm like, not a bad. It was pretty funny. I'm like, all right, if I really do believe in reincarnation, let me double down, put all my chips on Jesus, and if it doesn't work out, what's a lifetime for a friend? Turns out, she was right. I was wrong. It paid off. I'm telling, this is my process. And it is, first, whether you believe it or not, you got to hear you are a beloved son of God. Not because of what you've done or not done. It's who he, Jesus, is that we believe in. The only real work we have to do, there's only one work we have to do, is believe on him. Now, once that is, now let's say you have lousy belief. Let's say you're the worst one in the class, but you believe just a little bit. That little bit is called a seed, like a mustard seed, of faith. Faith grows. It is God who grows it in us by his Spirit. We do cooperate. We do as best we can, do the good, and as best we can, assuage, cut out the bad. And it is not a yes, no, win, loss moment. It's more tree growing in the ground. This problem that you're talking about, you're thinking about, actually, in time, someday, you will have absolute victory over it. And the weakness that you think you have now, because Satan used it against you, you will actually have victory over it. And it will not be by your own works. It will be by his grace, his unmerited favor, his love, his presence in your life as you cooperate with him.
So
You might have to pay.
I buy that on
I'm
one
sorry?
level, but I don't. So here's the thing for me, because
Yeah.
whenever like, I didn't engage with these folks too much, but the thing that comes to mind for me with the whole, like, by faith not by works, is that you have a lot of people who take that to the extreme where they
Listen, and that's, dude. Listen, I'm tired of, and I feel so weird, and I'm feeling convicted, and I don't know if I'm interrupting you too much.
No, you're good.
Or
I think this is the right balance of, like, interjecting
cool.
in appropriate points of the conversation.
Okay, because I do feel something weird in my heart, and I just want to make sure I'm not being rude. Dude, no. I know my business. I don't care what you think. I'm not here to ask your opinion. I'm here to tell you the truth and how it works.
Hi, Grizz, by the way.
Oh, hi, dude. General, sir. So anyhow, my point is this. It is not, like, when I came to God, dude, all right, I was a burnout. I'm Jewish. And I actually used to say to him, I used to look up to God and go, I wish I could have nailed your boy up myself. And I meant it. And I loved it. And I seriously think the moment I said that, God looked at one of the, like Gabriel goes, that one, I want him. This is going to crack me up. He smoked me. Dude, I didn't have just lack of faith. I had vehement, well-groomed, fomented venom towards him.
Full-on Saul of Tarsus mode.
Yeah, pretty much. Dude, I would have been Saul's buddy. I've been like, but.
Does he put your great grandpa in hell? Is that why you were mad?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who he puts in hell at all. And by the way, God cheats.
Well, I wasn't mad.
God
That's
cheats.
what I hated
Okay,
God
yeah,
for a while. That's it. No.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, but when I say God cheats because he breaks the laws of physics, he goes in and out of time,
Mhm.
and he loves. So the cheating part is the laws of nature, um, that kind of cheating. It's like beyond reason. He's unreasonable, but he is merciful. He is unreasonably merciful, and like, and there's another side. Yeah, like, okay, I know it's going to lead to all kinds of weird questions, but if it wasn't for him, wait a second, why am I getting stopped? I don't want to apologize for his grace. And the hardest part I've seen for myself and others is even accepting a possibility that it's real.
Mhm.
And because if Satan can get us to believe his love is not that good, then we lose. Or maybe not lose, but don't grow. Okay, that's it. It's like Mufasa when he lies to whatever the little line is and said, "Oh, if you would have
Simba.
only been there, you could have saved him."
Mhm.
That's a
Oh,
lie.
when Scar says that to him, yeah.
Yes. Sorry. So that's my point.
Mhm.
We have been lied to. Yeah, we're screw ups, but we're loved. That's grace. Yes, we're screw ups, but we're redeemed if we want. Can't force you into it.
Mhm.
So God may be telling you through somebody, an angel or somebody on the good side.
Mhm.
Um, he's helping you through your junk.
Yep.
Because Satan's not going to help you get better ever. And like to answer
Not
Grim's
that
question,
way.
I don't know. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But I was just gonna say, I think he might help you get better, quote unquote, but not that way.
He will never give you a good Satan because I've been around him.
Mhm.
I mean, Satan, like maybe not him himself, but one of his boys for
Mhm.
sure, a lot.
Mhm.
They will give you gifts that always have a hook.
Yep.
Always, if it's food, it's poisoned.
They ratchet you in.
Yeah, it can never be good. It always, but anyhow, I don't want to rabbit trail.
Squirrel.
So to get to your, what is your biggest doubt or fear? And that's where I'm actually always going to go.
My biggest doubt or fear.
I mean, what's in this conversation? What is your doubt or fear or rejection or, oh, by the way, when you were talking about what you're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with God, and is God really good? It is, I think the word vulnerable actually means to the ability to be wounded,
Yep. Or something to
part
that
of
effect.
the entomology. And when we open ourselves up to God, there's a vulnerability that we think we're going to get hurt.
Well,
And
not that we think that we're going to get hurt, but that we know that we can be hurt, and that there,
right,
especially if you have been hurt by other things and other times, like you're painfully aware of that. Like it's to the point where it's
yeah,
almost like a physical sensation of pain because you are making yourself vulnerable.
okay, and yes, let's say there is okay, yeah, I mean, okay, so yes, oh, okay, but I can tell you this from
Mm-hmm.
experience: His love is worth it.
That I can
Um,
absolutely confirm.
okay, that's cool.
Slash is in the house,
I
everybody.
oh, sweet. Okay, so I'm not looking at my screen or who's on, so I don't know but yeah, cool. I
It's
mean,
this dashing slasher.
dashing
He's
slasher.
he's a
So,
chill.
Hello.
all right, so I'm glad it's so okay. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so you now have two people who are saying, listen, this dude, this whole thing is real and worth it. So, and then if I'm saying anything wrong, the nice thing about doing it in public is you have a confluence of opinions or a consensus, and then they would come against me properly.
Ooh. I
No,
do
no,
not
no.
agree with that at
got.
all. And that's actually a really difficult thing for me personally, is because like I was a pain in the ass to a lot of teachers as a student, because I was the one who was always willing to go
No,
against
no, no, no. In
whatever
good
the
faith. No,
consensus
I'm just
was.
saying at this moment.
Okay.
At this moment.
I,
Just,
it is one of those
okay, so,
indicators that tells you whether you are likely going in the right direction or not. But as far as like actual proof goes,
all right. So, because like, here's
Anyway.
the deal. Because what I've also noticed about me is I respond fast and intense. And sometimes I'm wrong. And I need probably to dial it down a lot and listen a whole heck of a lot more. Because like I was just standing on a soapbox and I didn't listen to Graham, and because dude, let's see for a minute. Let's play a game. Hi, I'm Saul. I was on my way to Damascus, and this funny thing happened. And when I start talking about how I got better, I get a little intense, and I get a little bit.
get a little bit Paul-like. You get to the point where you start writing letters to every single church that you go and visit.
Well, and then also, but I guess to be honest, I wish I was better. Like, oh, okay, Afro. Oh, dude, wait a second. Oh, this is gonna crack you up.
Okay.
I'm gonna make you better, and I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you how. I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you about my failures.
Okay.
Okay, I have seen God once. I'm talking about the Lord, and He was not happy with me at all. I was like, dude, I was on my way to some bad and some stupid, and this is after I had my Damascus Road experience. This is years after. But I blame myself, I'm not putting this on anyone. And I was on my way to some serious life-changing bad, like destruction in my life. And I was moments away from it. And he showed up face to face, wouldn't even look at me. He was looking, it was his left side. He was looking to his right, facing me. He was looking away from me, down and bummed out. And it wasn't sorrow like anger or grief. It was like, okay, it was the perfect disappointment of a best friend. And I looked at him,
And not
and he didn't say
disappointment.
anything.
I'm sorry.
And it wasn't disappointment in me. It was disappointment in the best friendship ever. Like, and it was all my fault. Like, it was, dude, he showed up because he liked me. Not because he was angry. And I'm like, at that moment, I'm like, I'm an idiot. No, I wasn't an idiot. I'll take that back. It goes, if he would have come up like lightning and I am God Almighty and you must do what I want, and I would have been, no, let's go, big guy. And I would have lost. He came to me as a buddy, a best friend, like a beloved. And it's so, I don't have the words. Like, you ever just meet someone kind that you that you purposely hurt, and then you see it and they don't respond negatively, they respond lovingly?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I did to him. And he wasn't ticked.
No, he's just sad.
Then I turned my well, but hear me out. There's a happy ending. Okay, I turned my car around I didn't do the stupid.
Mhm.
I was, his love is better than the stupid.
Mhm.
His love is stronger than our weakness. Our weakness is made perfect in and with his love. Your weakness will be made perfect in and with his love. There it is. Dude, you're just normal. You're not any worse than anybody. You're not any more special. Like you're just a normal broken person, but you're loved and he's on your side.
What you're saying is,
Mhm.
you want to see God aim down real hard and wait for him to show up at the last second.
Exactly. Yes.
That's the real universalist argument, right?
Yes. That's perfect. I want to write that
No.
down. Wait, we need to
So
make
what? God
yes.
won't answer you? Are you
Oh no,
aiming
God
down
will
enough?
answer you. The point is that you shouldn't be aiming down to try and
No,
bring
we
God
should
out.
sin more.
because-
No, we should sin more so he'll show up and help us. Brilliant. Love it. Let's go.
The problem
I
with
know
that
that-
is that you can always go further down. You can always continue
I know.
ignoring his
I know.
presence. So it's one of those
Right,
Let me
but Ron said if it gets bad enough, he'll show up and you could have a hallucination at least, and that's exciting.
Exactly. I think if I can make money off that, I think I should. I'm like, if I'm going to go down with the ship, I'm going to go with some fat cash.
I think it's
monetized.
in service to him, right? Because that helps.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, I love
that.
that. Yes. Okay. So here's the joke. Okay. So there was oh God, this is a bad church joke, but I'll say it. It's late night.
Mhm.
So
It's a bad church.
late night TV.
This is bad church.
yeah, this is bad
Late night
church
TLC.
showtime. Oh yeah. So there's a pastor and a janitor, and the pastor had a big bunch of bag of money, and the janitor. Lord, wait a second. Am I going to get? I can't tell this joke. This is bad. I feel like I can't do
You
it.
can't leave us
I don't-
hanging like
Can't
that.
leave us
It's
hanging.
damn
You gotta finish it now, Ron.
again.
You started it, man.
Vanquish.
Okay. All right. I'll say it. Dag nabbit. All right. So the janitor goes, Pastor, how do you tell how much to give to God and how much do you keep? He goes, well, I take this bag of money and I throw it up in the air, and anything that God grabs and keeps, he gets, and the rest that comes down to the ground, I keep.
That
Sorry, I
is
was
a
in the
bad
middle of
church
dying.
joke.
I didn't even I was not paying attention to the punchline.
Oh, all right. It's a bad.
You
I
killed
didn't tell
F.
it where.
I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. I didn't. I got bad timing issues with jokes. That was. I could feel it.
I
That
should
was-
have paused.
All right,
I
so
should have waited.
No. Okay, this one you like. So there's this guy and his son. They go to church, and the guy doesn't like church. He goes twice a year, Christmas and Easter, and they're going to the door, and the preacher's there, and the son goes, "Dad, can I have $1?" And the father goes, "Yeah, here's $1," and the kid takes it, and then he gets up to the door to shake the pastor's hand, and he says hi to the pastor, and he takes off, and then the little kid goes, "Pastor, I don't want to shake your hand. I want to give you $1." And the pastor's like, "Well, that's very kind. Why do you want to do that?" And he goes, "Because my dad said you're the poorest preacher he's ever heard."
Ooh.
Is that not a compliment though?
Mm,
Like within, because let's see, would if somebody said that to Paul Vanderklay, "You're the poorest preacher I've ever met," I think he would just laugh.
yeah. Oh,
And
I
he'd be
think
like,
so,
"Yeah, it's
but it-
probably correct."
Yeah, so that's my two, but those are my but it's anyhow. That's the part thing. It was, amongst pastors, those are fine.
How much more blasphemy can we fit in?
Well, yeah, I know. It's like, well, I'll stop now. That's like,
The
I'm gonna
important
have a-
thing is this is 19 times we've had to watch these Drake things.
No, I mean, this hasn't been 19 times of the Drakes. It's been 19 times of you died.
My grandma, your grandma, sitting by the fire.
Did you ever upgrade that knife?
I did, actually. So now I'm
Oh,
killing him
good.
in 2 hits. Thank you for the reminder for that, by the way. But yeah, no, it's...
Yeah, I'm here to help.
I got this one, and then I got a twin humanity, and then if that doesn't work, I think we're gonna call it for this stream. But we got a little bit more time. A little bit more time still.
You've got to prove GPT correct, though. You've got to die
27 times.
8 times more. Come on. These are rookie numbers.
I feel like 27 ends up just being a llamas with hats reference. I don't want to be cooking hands and eating
Stabbed him
them.
27 times in the chest. Where is Hands?
Oh man, that's not good. Where are his hands, Carl? His hands. What happened to his hands?
And oh, I thought it was number 20.
No. I'm definitely not playing well, but I'm not playing not that well.
This guy's got you. Look at that. Look at where he's running at you.
I tried to kick him instead of backstab. That was not what was intended.
You got a shield, you yahoo. Do your fancy thing.
The parry? Not
his
really.
fancy thing.
Not really in the mode of
I'm
trying to
rooting
parry
for
these
him,
guys.
you understand.
Not wanting to parry these guys.
I'm behind you.
No,
Christianity is like playing a video game. You get multiple lives. You don't want to use them up foolishly, but you get a lot.
Yep. Well, and that's... So that was one of the things that I kind of, like, had that realization of, was like, no, it's like... I understand that you don't want to waste forgiveness,
Right.
but at the same time, like, it's there for a reason, and you're being silly and just putting yourself in ever more of a hole if you
Once you
don't
take it, you have to
take
start
advantage of it
repenting.
when I'm giving it to you.
Well,
If you
I
take
think
the
repentance.
forgiveness, you have to repent.
Well, that's the
That's
thing,
the thing.
is that he knows that you're gonna fuck it up a bunch of times, but
Yeah.
like he's okay with it. Like that's the hard part for me to accept.
Yeah, but you have to start trying.
Well, and that's the
You have
question:
to
is
start
what
repenting and trying and all that sorts of stuff instead of just
Well, what if-
continuing.
what actually
comfortably as you
constitutes
are.
trying, though? Like that's the question for me. It's like,
Actually, I think, from what my opinion is, even if it's in your mind, like, man, I wish I could be better.
Mhm.
You know, you just that, and maybe it's not even a conscience, like wording, like. But what if it's just an emotion, like I don't like this?
The want is
I will.
trying.
I'm sorry.
The want is trying.
Yeah, exactly. I think a desire, because when I couldn't get, I'll be honest, dude, when I was a mess, finally I was tired of my mess. It wasn't like a conscious word. It was more like,
Oh, the goats got you.
it's the goats. When you're
Yeah,
tired of the
that's
goats,
20, I think.
that's
One day.
the big old 2-0.
But I mean,
One
yeah,
more,
the
and then it can
desire
drink.
is that first step.
Yeah, but if you're not, like, what, why would you know? Should you then be like the opposite flavor water? Because you don't want to be lukewarm or whatever.
oh, be cold. But I think it's on God then. I think at that point, if you don't want it, and that's a valid thing to say. I've seen people who they were cold, and then God went and got them. So so at that point, it's not so much you should be cold. It's just that you become cold, and even if you are cold, that's when God goes, okay, this is going to be fun. You know, I'm gonna go get one of my sheep. There might be. Actually, I don't want to even say after that. I've seen him do it with cold people, but at that point, I think the onus is on him. If that sounds right.
Mhm.
It's like okay, I'm your kid. I'm
That
gonna,
was always
I'm,
the thing, right? It's like, all right, God knows exactly what the. I need to see in my life
Mhm.
to get me to go to church if he wants me in church, or
Right.
he knows me well enough how to steer me if he wants me, and
Right.
that when that doesn't happen for decades, you're like, all right, then maybe I'm a tear.
Maybe I'm
No,
a heel.
actually, actually, I actually have an answer to that. Anyone who's ever concerned about it being a tear is, I'd have to say, really probably not one, because a tear is a different entity. It's a different thing. It produces different. It doesn't care. It has no grid for God. It's like, to be a tear. I'm not saying there aren't those, but if you're concerned, that's actually a conscience. If you think you're a tear and you're concerned about it, that's a conscience.
Mhm.
And that's, I don't care how small it is. It's like being mostly dead. If you're mostly dead, you're not dead.
You're not all dead.
Yeah, exactly. And
He's a
even
Blade.
Which
Huh?
means you guys were probably playing cards, and he cheated.
cheated, but though it's
Slasher,
like,
that you were supposed to come in with liar,
liar.
liar.
he rejects that casting.
Oh,
Or
They don't
maybe
blame
he's
him.
never ever seen The Princess Bride because he's too young and spry.
I've seen The Princess Bride.
Have you seen it
Anytime.
47 times?
No, I haven't seen it 47 times, but it is a movie that's quite dear to my heart.
Do you want the
Jonathan
Holocaust
Peugeot.
quote is the most important thing. Like the geopolitical commentary that movie is more than most people are ready for. More than most people are ready for.
It's
the prince
pretty
isn't
deep.
always the good guy. The pirate might actually be a good guy in disguise.
Huh.
Mark Lefebvre?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I can't. He jumped on that Captain Pirate branding so fast. He knew. Painted it though.
Other issues for that one.
I'm gonna have to watch that again. Actually, that guy came in. Wesley came into Ball State University to do a lecture after they watched the movie.
Mhm.
I was thinking about it. I would like to see an Andre the Giant. He seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Big, but
A big heart.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much it.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Bigger the man, bigger the heart.
That's it.
Unfortunately, the bigger your heart, the harder it is for your heart to keep working.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Everybody who says goodbye in the chat now has to receive sleep well and dream of large women.
Sleep well and stream of large women.
Speaking of people in chat, MV, I don't think I've seen you in chat before. Welcome. Just not following proper streamer etiquette if I'm not acknowledging the folks that come in, especially for a
They
smaller
want to
stream like
make me
this.
buy it.
Make
What
you
do
buy
you
what?
want? $14 they want for this shit.
For what?
For what?
For
The
what?
Princess Bride.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah, there's this
For the
lovely
movie?
thing called Putlocker. I will find a link and send it to you after stream.
I'm a legit. We're legit people here on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Live streams with
Uh-huh.
Princess Bride.
Yep, totally legit.
we never
Definitely.
commit any acts
Perfect.
that would be against the U.S. laws.
Hey, just so you know, it's only illegal to seed the torrent. Just saying.
Oh, and I have to run Wildvine for this?
what's
Your browser
Wildvine?
can- It's to prevent you from watching it, probably.
Oh,
What? I bet you it won't show up if I share it in here.
I think the issue was that I wasn't wearing the Crest of Artorias when I summoned her the last time, and so she didn't get the effect. So now that I'm wearing it, she should actually come down there with me. Fingers crossed. This is the
It looks
last
like
go.
it'll
so-
work. We might have an after party plan. Can you see that, Slash?
An after party.
Slasher. Can you see that over there?
Oh my
I
God.
definitely can, and I was definitely not muted in saying all of the things.
The little baseball scene. You see that, right?
Oh,
All
man.
right, we got an after
That is
party
some
now,
Nintendo
baby.
right there. That is some
got-
very legal Nintendo watching.
We got after party plans once we hit 27. Let's go after.
Okay. Well, we might not hit 27.
We will.
Okay.
What is this four gods that looks like one god that gave you the big hug? What's
So
old backstory there?
It's the
They
one
are-
king.
it's the one. It's not 4 kings. It's 1 king.
There's only one
or-
king.
I got 2
You
of them
can't
to
prove that
spawn.
there are others.
I
It
got
doesn't
one
have a
more to
name.
spawn. So the lore with this is that you had. Okay, we're good to go. Down we go.
Oops, I fell in the abyss.
So the abyss corrupted the 4 kings who used to rule over New Londo. That they went down here. I want to say they went down here to try and defeat the abyss, or whatever was down here, and then became themselves corrupted by it. And of course, he opens with the homing missile. And of course, I just die like an idiot because I don't back up.
One, right? 21? Yeah.
Okay, well, if we gotta make it 27, then that means I gotta go get a little bit more humanity, or I can just try without Beatrice.
It'll be faster if you try without Beatrice.
We'll try without Beatrice once or twice.
Is that the only one?
I
you
mean,
can
they'll
use?
have less health.
Did their health scale with if you have a summon?
All bosses' health scales. if
Oh,
you
I
have
did not know
something.
that actually.
That's been
I
your
think
gimmick.
damage too.
hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's
Might be wrong
generally
on that one.
easier to deal with them even if they have more health. If you have a partner.
Yes, the separation of aggro is a very real advantage. Being able to use your flask usually lets you live longer.
Ooh, that sounded like an infomercial. That was pretty good.
Oh man, let me get past you, Drake. Oh man, that
He's
was.
gonna die.
I'm not gonna die. It's just one of those.
I don't know. I was
let
rooting
me
for you.
let me kill the Drakes, and then I'll give you pep.
This lesson brought to you by lightning. It's what's up your butt.
And back hop. And there's only 3 there. Where's number 4? 4 is coming to say hello.
20. What? 2?
22.
Yep, that's
22.
22.
I've been drinking this whole time, says Envy. Every time Afriel dies, take a shot.
Oh my
Sip.
gosh, we're all drunk.
Take a sip. I want to be
Yeah,
responsible for what happens.
22. I think we might have some problems now.
Are we breaking your concussion brain?
No. The game, if anything, is broken. The concussion.
Oh,
brain.
drinking is good for the concussion.
No.
There was a whole extra part about that. Yeah, an
Not
outside
good.
consultation from a concussion lady. He's like, don't come to work.
Mhm.
So he does this to his brain instead.
Well,
Yeah.
I've had a week to heal, and I also am. Like, it doesn't look like it, but I am actually keeping a decently close eye on my head as far as, like, the.
Well,
Level
of
of-
course, you have 2 eyes on your head.
I mean, I'm not, like, rolling them into the back of my head to, like, stare at my brain, but it's one of those just, like, keeping tabs on how I'm feeling. Like, is this too much? Am I overdoing it? So I don't think I am. Could be, but I don't think I am.
Be careful.
Yep.
Well,
You weren't
Listen, we're
wearing
gonna
the
be-
hat when you got in the accident, were you?
This hat? No, I was actually wearing a helmet, which the doctors were like, it's a very good thing you were wearing that, because you could have been a problem.
wow. Okay.
Why do
Devastating
you
those
think
drakes never gets old.
What do you think you said that made the assassins make an attempt?
I think it was not the assassins making an attempt on me. It was maybe, if anything, internal assassins who saw that had been being complacent with myself and saw an opportunity to capitalize on that complacency.
I think the bike did it.
Yeah, it was definitely the bike's fault.
You can never trust a bike.
I mean, they're more trustworthy than scooters, at least.
They're shifty motherfuckers.
Shifty. God bless.
Oh.
That's bad.
I'm giving you $1.
That is bad.
Hi, I'm Dad. I'm here all week.
Hi, Dad. I'm Alfred. Oh, I ran up on him because I was busy laughing. That's okay. We can still get a batting stab. And move on our merry way. Yeah, Ron, it sounds like you're about ready to call it there.
Oh yeah, it's heading towards 12 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm dying.
Thank you
But
for
it's been fun.
tuning in as long as you did. I appreciate it.
Oh no, it's been fun. Dude, this is, you know what? This is me partying like a rock star.
Yeah.
What?
Not really.
Oh, that's entertaining.
This was made as a joke. We're not actually going with the actual thing with what that actually means.
What?
What's that?
That's confusing.
Huh?
I made
Could you explain?
the rock on symbol. And
Oh, I got my phone off. I'm just
chatting.
about crashed up.
We're not
I
looking at
saw
your
it.
tiny little camera face. We can see the hat. That's it.
You can just
We
see
can make
that.
also, we could do that Masonic gestures. We wouldn't even know.
Almost.
What's-
Generally,
Uh-oh.
it's like handshakes and stuff, though, right? It's not. You have to. have
Another
another person
prayer.
involved.
I don't care about your gang signs.
I'm gonna
There's a
guess.
lot. There's a lot.
All right,
I
gentlemen.
don't judge. That's for the Lord to do.
That's the Lord. I am the Lord.
I,
Wait, that-
I am. You are the Lord. Oh well, okay then. You are the Foot
And,
Squad.
oh, I think. Okay, wait a second. I'm not the Lord. I just play him on TV.
I just-
All right. I look like Jim Carrey.
You play him over Discord.
That's it.
All right, Ron. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Cause trouble. Don't get caught.
Okay.
Bye.
What's your assessment, Slasher? Am I doing... I just went for the summon sign, even though I'm not human. Is this an embarrassingly low level of play, or is this at least stream-worthy for entertainment purposes?
This is a Dark Souls level of play.
Yay! I can accept that as an answer. Also, good call on the bottomless box. It's much easier.
I probably wouldn't be any better.
Okay, that's good.
So you're
I mean, it's
going
not
to get
good.
the wit,
What's
but you
that?
didn't get enough humanity? What?
I didn't have enough
I
humanity
would
from before the
probably
start of
use more
stream.
pyromancy.
That's probably...
Pyromancy.
The other thing that I could do is, I think these things are weak to occult damage, but I don't want to take the time to go and level that. Not to mention, I don't think I have the right ember for that, so...
It's more just about not getting hit by their shit.
Yeah,
Forever.
that is generally the idea, but...
Once you can do
unfortunately-
that, it doesn't matter how much damage you do, right? Other than for... You have to keep doing it for longer.
No! I was backing up! I was in the
Oh.
process of backing up, and it
He
still
really
grabbed
loves
me.
you, though. He really loves you. He just wants to show you it so much. So much.
Also, hi, Tom Tom. Good to have you here. I thought you said you were going to be asleep.
Did you even try that time?
Yes! And that's, okay, this is kind of what I was getting at earlier with Ron, is, like, how, like, what actually constitutes trying? Right?
Well,
Like,
you were just like screaming a lot, and I don't think that when you're actually trying or in the flow state, you're screaming like that.
I mean, that's
So, like,
true.
To do it from the flow state is really the thing, maybe, eh?
Okay, but if I'm attempting to be in the flow state, right? And like, you could definitely make the argument that I wasn't there, but I think for some of the other ones, there was at least attempting to be in the flow state.
Right, but this time you were all like, I was
Right.
back up. I was living
Yeah, but
in the
those
past."
times we believed in you.
This one, no, definitely not. There was just no chance. No, I'm sorry I can't
Find
take
this
safety.
one not showing
Hopefully
you.
this will help act as some white noise for you. The only thing I can judge here is Af's Dark Souls play. Well, I appreciate your judgment, Slack, I guess. But yeah, like, that's something that I've struggled with since college, even, because it's like if
You know when
I
you're trying
am
hard.
trying to do my homework by literally like locking myself in a room, staring at a computer screen and doing nothing but that for several hours on end, like, by all appearances, I'm not really trying to do my homework, right? I'm not making a...
You're forcing yourself to do your homework, which is different from trying to do your homework.
Okay, but if I don't know what the problem is, if I don't know why it is that my body or my mind are so resistant to any effort to making progress, like, is at least trying to put myself in a position where I can make that progress, is that, I mean, that's not enough, but is it at least moving in kind of the right direction?
Well, clearly the better thing to do would like go sit down in the quiet and be like, WTF? Why can't we do this? What are you holding me back with, subconscious?
Right, but then how much sitting in the quiet can you do before eventually you're going to have to either retake a course or drop out of college because you just can't do enough of the work?
So hard sitting in the silence. I think that's a moot question.
I mean, that wasn't moot for me personally. Like,
Good
there's a
at
reason
sitting
I'm
in
asking you
silence?
in this way. It's because, like,
You can meditate for hours.
I mean, maybe not for hours, but there was a lot of thought. There was a lot of...
No, there's not thought in this. I'm saying you sit there and silence everything and put out the question,
Mhm.
and then wait and see what comes. Not think about it. It's very different from thinking about it. Thinking
is
about
true.
it, you're walking and pacing around
That is true.
and articulating it in your head. It's different. But I don't do it or anything. That's just what I think would work.
Look, doing something is better than doing nothing, in my opinion.
Mhm. But what constitutes...
And if you're doing something, you are trying. I mean, that is a real big question, because I would say that doing the meditation is doing something.
Mhm. But what if it's not taking you towards whatever that goal is? What if it's something that... like, it's something, right, but it's not something that's moving you in the direction that you need to be moving. At least not...
What
and
if
and
it's
this
a
is the
little
real question. Is
sabotage
maybe you're
what
not
if-
moving in the right direction. But how do you
what
tell
if
that?
It's a little sabotagey what if voice,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
That's how I feel right now. It's that, oh, what if the voice saying what if all the time is what's holding me back?
Yep.
Absolutely. Now,
That is
here's the
exactly
thing
problem.
There's
because
the answer.
you seem to be questioning whether you are making progress here.
Mhm.
Now, what I would suggest, don't try to win this particular fight.
Mm.
Try to see what they do. Try to survive the fight.
Okay.
Learn the patterns.
If you can make it 3 more minutes without dying, this can be your last death.
Well, I wouldn't die if that was the case, right? Okay. So he swoops around and then he grabs. Yep, okay. Thrusts. Swings. I need to back up so that way he doesn't grab me. I can take a sip.
One thing you'll notice here is his swings are tending to go through your guard.
Yep. Well, I know that Magic Shield helps with that, but I don't... Okay. Well, we have another one now. Yeah. I just was gonna try and swing away, which was not necessarily smart, but I don't. When there's two of them on the field, and then one starts swinging through the other one to hit you.
We've seen a second fork. Or what?
There's
of
at
the
least
fork,
2 kings.
At least 2.
We have seen 2, and that's number what 23. 23 by the count in chat.
23. Yeah, that was a terrible German accent. Holy shikes.
It's fancy 3. Yeah, it's probably pretty bad too.
Rock On Sign's origin was to make fun of and repel the devil. I did not know that, Tom Tom.
What's a Git
I don't know if I believe
soundtrack?
it, but, I can rock the GLTS soundtrack.
GLTS, huh? Alright, the Gleets soundtrack. What's that?
Not sure. MV, you're gonna have to clarify for us.
I mean, we have seen at least 4 kings so far. Just
in total. Just
some of them are the same one. I mean, they all look the same, so... Oh, lightning up the butt.
That's water sipping time. Okay. That's hour 3. I will give it one more try.
But ChatGPT really needs to give it, like, 3 more tries?
You didn't even give it one
Oh,
more
that's right.
try.
I do have to hit the ChatGPT threshold, huh?
You don't. You could have given it one more try, but you didn't.
Okay.
You just let those drakes cook you. That was complete surrender. That doesn't count. This is the one more try.
Okay.
I mean, it counts towards your death total, but...
But as far as, like, the last try total.
For those just listening, the Gleets soundtrack wasn't I. It's a Gits soundtrack, and it's Ghost in the Shell.
And as far as Tom Tom, the inherent meaning in the cross, the shape where 2 realities meet. Oh, here's a thought. Here's
The crossroads.
What about the... Oh, you just... Okay.
What? What are you doing,
I got
F?
tail swept.
F?
I got tail swept.
What are you doing?
I got tail swept.
You know the drill.
I do, and apparently I'm getting caught out by weird stuff.
I think that's 25?
24 or 25.
24? 24. Just die like 3 more times.
Okay.
And ChatGPT will be happy, and we will not anger the overlords of AI.
Is it really a prediction when we're gonna intentionally work to meet the prediction?
Yes, because they can predict that about you too, suckers.
Okay.
But
then what if I reject that and I intentionally only
They
die
will
26
predict
times
your
on the stream?
perseverance.
the thing is, this is your last shot. So in order to hit 27 deaths, you have to die intentionally or be incompetent.
Or be...
All you have to do to prove it wrong is get back to the kings for this last try.
The incompetence one, that's more possible than I would like to admit.
And we're gonna watch Princess Bride as soon as you actually do your try.
Okay.
So, do your try.
I'm doing my try. So Grizz, here's a thought for you. Oh, that was what I meant to do. How about the cross as a symbolic alternative to the Ankh?
Seems fair.
That rather than having the union of opposites at the end, that it's actually a rejection of that union. That it is saying that no, it's not meeting the positive and the negative sum into something greater than either of them, but saying that and that's, I don't know, that's one of the big hang-ups that I have about Christianity, actually, is that I feel like there has to be some incorporation of the negative sum into the whole in order for the whole to make sense. And I don't know how that's done in a healthy way.
Isn't that Satan?
Well, that's the thing, is I don't know how either one works, or how either one could work. I don't know how, if it was just positive sum and it rejected the negative sum on its whole, Like, I don't, like, the negative sum exists. I've encountered it. I've been it in some cases, right? Like, you can't just say that it's not there. That doesn't work. But at the same time, I don't think that, like, trying to bring them together in, like, a Baphometian sense even, that doesn't work either. That really doesn't work there. And I just... Like, I'm going off of the fruits of the spirit here, because I see the way that one plays out, and I see the way the other plays out, and it's like, Christianity seems like a much, much better bet as far as that goes. But, like...
Well, I mean, that kind of also ties into the idea of the sinner and the saint, right?
Hmm. So?
I mean, I'm not very...
I got it.
I'm not super well versed in the Christianity, but the idea that you're both you've got both the sinner and the saint within you.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems like a fundamental principle of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
But what's the goal?
I don't know
Is the
that
goal
that
to
there's
expunge,
the
or is the
saint
goal
in
to...
you.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I don't know the saint being in you is a fundamental part of Christianity. You're a dirty sinner is a fundamental. I don't know that the saint being in you is part of that.
Mm.
But I got a thing that resolves your problem, maybe.
Okay.
Once upon a time, the kind, benevolent ruler decided that he had had enough of the evil being around. And he's like nothing can exist in my kingdom that is not love. And so slowly all of the evil got like coagulated into a big giant blob as it was making its way out of the kingdom by the power of the creed. But then some little jackass kid saw the big blob of evil and was like, I'll love you. And so all of that evil was going to go into the child. And everybody thought that would be a terrible idea, to have it all concentrated into one kid. So they decided that they'd all love it a little. And I don't know. That's a thing that came to me once and never left. It came up when you were talking about what you were saying. So there's that.
Have you ever...
Yeah, I am.
Good.
I'm not the greatest theologian myself, so if I'm spouting off things, don't mind me.
No, I think that's... Amateur theology is the name of the game for the corner. No, I backed... Oh my gosh, I saw it
You
coming
always
that
getting
time.
hugged, man.
I saw it
You
coming that
just-
time, though.
The king loves you so. Hey, you live.
I did
You
live.
live.
I actually had enough health
you
that
live
time that
to
I was
be
able to
hugged
live.
again.
I
Or
thought I was
exploded
far
by
enough
some
away.
dark energy. You know, one of those two things.
Okay. We're gonna go to 27. If I can't kill them, then there's two things that I need to do for next stream. One
Oh,
is I need to get
Slacky's already
Magic
made
Shield.
ChatGPT sad.
Oh, did he?
It's all right. Yeah.
Informed
he told
ChatGPT of
him
your failure to meet its projection.
it's all over for us.
Oh no. The
Our AI
overlords are going
overlord.
to attack us. Grizz, did you ever read a comic called Johnny the Homicidal Maniac? It's kind of a weird niche thing, but just curious if you'd ever come across that. I think he went to take a coffee break, or he's just on mute. Corn! No, he's actually away from
Corn?
the computer. If he...
Yeah, cats are a thing. I just got back. What do you want?
Ah, gotcha. Have you ever read or heard of a comic called Johnny the Homicidal Maniac?
No, the title would have turned me off if I had.
Okay. It
Too
just
much.
reminded me a little bit of that. as sort of an answer to that comic, because one of the main concepts in it was this idea of a I forget the term that they used, but basically a sink of misery, that you had dedicated individuals in the world who took on all of the pain and anguish and everything of the world, so that way everyone else didn't have to feel it and deal with it. And it sounds to me like an answer to that. The way that you fix that problem is by... Oh, where did you go? Did you just phase through a wall?
Did he yeet?
Oh, he's in the door.
He yeeted into the door. That's...
Well...
He seems content there.
He does. We're just gonna leave him be.
He doesn't have to die.
I mean, it's the only reason that we had to kill him anyway was because him and his friends were wanting to be difficult.
I mean, going through doors. What jackasses.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, what's Tom been saying? Snake in the garden, out of sin, create glory in Christ. Evil which has a proper place. Bad things not in their proper place. Scapegoat. Yep, it's definitely in that same vein as the scapegoat. But yeah, I do firmly believe in the idea of what certain entities and people intend for evil, God intends for good. That there is some way in which God will make everything, including the most heinous of things, somehow make sense in the end. I don't know how that happens, but I have faith that that does happen. But there's some real bad stuff in the world, and it's really hard sometimes to not even necessarily to see, because I don't think you can see it from our perspective here, but just to have faith that yeah, no, there's a way that God takes this and he makes it good. It's like, how on earth?
It is a struggle.
And that's on like a much more macro scale too. Like even within the scale of my own life, right? Like there's so many times and so many issues where like I will not live up to the expectations that I know I should have for myself. Or like I can't kick an addiction, right? Like I keep going back to the same behaviors that I know are not good for me, or I'm pretty sure are not good for me at least, right? Like I don't necessarily have strong evidence one way or the other, but I'm pretty sure that I shouldn't be doing the thing that I'm doing. And it's like, okay, how do I come to terms with that? And then and this is the thing that I was kind of talking about with Ron, how do I then say, hey God, I know I fucked up the last 15 times, right? I know I took your forgiveness and then basically spat on it, threw it on the ground and stomped my heel on it because I'm this imperfect being. But could you find it in your heart to forgive me a 16th time? And it's like, how many times am I going to do that? How many times am I going to spurn God's love for me?
That's the hard question.
Well, and the answer that I got back was, that's not for you to decide, basically. Was this idea of, like, you keep asking, I'll say when is when. And it's like, I feel uncomfortable with that. I don't want to keep asking to be washed when I know I'm going to just dirty myself again. I don't want to ask for help when I know that I'm not going to make the best use of it. And it's but that's the thing, is I'm being told, or I feel like I'm being told, no, you even if that's where you're at, you're supposed to keep asking for help. You're supposed to say, you know what? I fucked up. I did it again. God, can you help me?
That does seem like the Christian premise.
What the Oh, this game is so jank. It's a Drake that's T-posing.
Believe.
Mm-hmm.
What did you just say before that?
I was saying how God says that I'll say when I'm done forgiving you. You don't get to make that determination.
Yeah, not asking because you
Oh,
don't want to. Like,
okay, I should flip this
I don't
one.
want to ask to be cleaned if I'm just gonna get dirty again.
Always getting hurt. I mean, you shower every day, or presumably when you get dirty. You don't question whether or not you should do that.
Yeah, you're just using it as an excuse not to get clean the first time.
I mean, the thing is, if I've already been clean, that's the problem, right? If I've been cleaned, and I'm finding
then
myself
you need to
getting
watch
dirty.
Dwayne, man. You missed the latest Dwayne. He does the he does real good on it on whatever. You can't lose your salvation.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been clean once, you're good, bro.
I don't buy that. I think that I still fall into the universalist idea. I still think that no matter how dirty you get yourself, that there is a way for God to clean you back up again. But I think that even if you get clean, you can make yourself dirty again.
Of course.
Like I don't believe that once saved, always saved thing. Like I think that there is absolutely the possibility for somebody to get baptized and then do bad enough things that they get sent to hell. Absolutely, I think that's the case.
Well, I have posted a link to the Tack Room Bible Talk that will cure you of that, I think. If it's not that one, it's the one right before that.
Dwayne is always a good listen, so I'll look forward to that.
Because now I know your opinion is straight heresy.
I mean, I never claimed to be anything but a heretic. So.
No, but
I certainly am.
You're usually not so direct.
Mm.
But now, I'm gonna go to my Discord and watch The Princess Bride. Thanks for doing the stream.
Yep. I'll be joining you shortly. Well, and thank you, Slasher, for hanging out, and thanks, Ron, if you're listening to this on the replay, and thanks to everybody else in chat. Cassandra, Slack, and TomTom, I see you guys in there, but if anybody else is still hanging on, appreciate you hanging out. And we might not have killed the boss, but we at least didn't go hollow, I think. We kept trying till the very end. So,
and you sure learned some things.
Did learn a lot of things.
There's at least 2.
There are at least 2. There's up to 5, actually. That's the really funny thing, is that if you keep it going long enough, you can actually have 5 kings instead of just 4.
I think technically the 5th king is just the health bar. And he lives underneath the stage.
Is that the case? I will have to go back and look.
I'm pretty sure I saw that on an illusory wall one time.
Good Dark Souls content channels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, MV's here still too. Well, with that, we're going to go watch some Princess Bride. Goodbye then. Be safe, friends. Don't you dare go hollow.